And welcome everybody. Today I got a guest caster with me. I got Titan here with me, and we're ready to cast the Code A round of 4 in the grand finals here. Get hyped. This is live. This is not definitely not replays. So that's pretty awesome. Titan, you got any opinions you want to express about this next match? Looks like it's going to be Disrespect versus Reaper.
Yeah. So thank you for having me. First off, for those of you who don't know, hello. I'm a caster for Alpha X. I go by Titan on Fire online. Yeah, I have not actually kept as much track of the NA Apprentice scene as I know some casters have. It's one of those scenes where we were talking about this a little bit earlier, where it's you know there's a lot of players that are like breaking through into the pro scene, and there are a lot of players that are getting into those top 32s, into the top 16s in their regions, and it's really cool to see. But a lot of times, the players that they aren't quite at that level are oftentimes overlooked, and they can still produce some really awesome games. They make really awesome runs through qualifiers, and that's why I think this is an awesome tournament that's held. This and Code S are just absolutely great because it is a chance for those players who are just not quite there to be able to get practice against players who are at the same level as them consistently in a tournament format. So I'm really excited. I haven't seen as much as you have, so I'm going to leave all the talking to you about these actual players and how they've been doing. I'm just here for the hype.
To be honest, I haven't seen a single player this whole season that has honestly made me feel like they weren't at the top of their game. Like all of these guys, especially the ones we have today, have all left a lasting impression on me personally as a StarCraft 2 player. And as far as the pro scene goes here in North America, these guys are the heroes of NA. So get hyped. These guys are the best of the best. And today we have the finals for Code A. This is live. We're going to go ahead and get everything set up. So please feel free to give me a follow, give Titan a follow. His info is down below, so you can check that out. And we're just going to get this set up. Titan, if you want to talk a little bit more about your StarCraft experience while we get into the game here.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So, again, as I said, I cast for Alpha X. I used to be a player who, a lot of these names I actually played alongside back when I was playing at a decently high level. I was getting near that, around that 5K mark before I eventually dropped back down, stopped playing. So, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to Terran, at least. I like to think. But as I said, I've done a lot of events for Alpha X. You could have probably seen me on their Twitch doing the Asus ROG qualifiers, which is a tournament that's coming up. It's super exciting. I'm so hyped for that. But yeah, I've done a lot of this stuff. Sometimes I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I say things that are very dumb. You'll have to excuse me if that happens. I just get too excited.
It's no worries. We're all friends among friends here, especially here on my stream. Everyone is a part of the same StarCraft 2 family. So I would like it if everyone was very welcoming of Titan here. And please check him out and follow him on Twitter. I'm not seeing you in the channel here.
Well, I see you, so that's weird. I'm just going to request to join your party.
There you go. All right. All right. We got Disrespect in there, and we got you in there, and now we're just waiting on a Reaper to finish getting in. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this evening. Today we have the Code A round of 4 and grand finals, and tomorrow Beowulf will be casting the Code S grand finals. So a great weekend of StarCraft ahead for everyone here. So please tune in. Reaper, why has
it? It's going to be awesome. Honestly, I'm a bit sad that I'll be missing out on the Code S finals because I'm going to be doing some other stuff later that night, but that's also going to be really awesome. Those are, a few of the players that if you watch the pro scene, especially in NA, you probably know a bit more. You have people like Jon Snow who play in that tournament. So those are a bit more of the common household names. But as I said, I'm super excited for this. A lot of these players that I see that have got into the round of 16, I knew quite well. Those are players like Elimo, Kaiboy, people that I played against quite a bit. So it's awesome to see a tournament like this, supporting those people who are, trying to get to playing at a higher level. But the round of 4 is going to be awesome. for those of you that did not catch the round of 8, we did have coming into it a pretty much almost even split of Protoss, Terran, Zerg, which is really crazy. You had 2 Zerg, 3 Terrans, or 4 Terrans, and 2 Protoss. So, decently even. You could have maybe had a bit more. But coming into the round of 4, 3 of those Terrans advance, and only 1 Zerg, which is Reaper. So if you're a Zerg fan, you're gonna have to cheer for Reaper, man. He's the last bastion of hope for the Zerg Swarm.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty hyped about that, to be honest. Thank you, everyone, for being active in the chat and letting us know about audio. It says, Titan, you're kind of low on your audio levels.
Oh, no. I'm just going to talk louder.
Let me see here.
But yeah, I will
There we go.
see. Yeah, it should be, I think.
Does that sound a little bit better, Blink?
Yeah, we can see. But yeah, I think we have a map pick, so let's get on into it.
Yeah, Romanticide's going to be map number 1 for Reaper versus Disrespect. So we're getting into there now. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I don't know. I see your little volume knob bouncing around there. He says it still sounds low.
Yeah.
He says a little better, so that means I'm just gonna just a tad a little bit more.
Just put me a tad up. Yeah, I think also we need to put it on Game Heart. So
yeah, that too. Yeah, you need to
go. The lobby there. But yeah, I hope you guys are all excited. As MoreVox has already said, it's gonna be great. The first matchup that we are going to have is going to be Reaper versus Disrespect, both of whom got pretty convincing wins against the opposing race in their round of 8 matchup, actually. So you had Reaper go up against Prototype, get the 3-0, and then you had Disrespect face off against Steadfast, where he got a 3-1. So both of these guys have, a pretty decent track record so far, at least, against the opposing race, which makes me just a tad bit excited to see how they fare up against each other, because if Reaper comes out here and has a phenomenal best of 5 against Disrespect, then I might start to worry for Binsky and Buster, whoever wins that TVT on the other end.
Right now, I'm actually just trying to get into Romanticide. I know it's under custom games here with mod, right? With Game Heart.
Yeah. So you go create lobby with mod Game Heart.
Actually, I'm just gonna make you.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. I'm going to make you the leader. That way I can talk and you can do that. You probably know better than me how to get in there.
Yeah, I've done this a million times. I think we're going US East, if I'm correct.
All right,
yes, awesome.
So as we can see, Titan is already being extremely helpful. So everybody please give him a follow. We're actually about to get into game number 1. We just make sure everything looks good.
Yep. Players are in. There we go. We are good to go. And we're gonna get these players ready. Get on into it. Game 1. We don't want to delay any longer. We're already like 3 minutes delayed.
All right.
That's too much.
We've talked enough. There's no reason to wait any longer. Let's go and jump into it, guys. Get hyped.
Get ready. This is gonna be great. I'm so excited. You should all be excited. And I'm a guy who has professionals, and I'm excited for this. If that doesn't say enough, I don't know what will. We're on to Romanticide for nap number 1.
All right, I'm going to go ahead, if you don't mind, and introduce our Zerg player here in the top left. Playing for Domaticus Gaming, it is Reaper. I'm not sure if I said that right.
Well, names are hard, so we give ourselves a bit of lenience with it. As in the bottom right of Romanticide, it's going to be your Red Terran. Currently teamless, it's Disrespect. So I didn't see the round of 8, but I know you did end up casting it. So what's your kind of take on these 2 players in the TVZ matchup?
Well, I do know one thing. I know Reaper absolutely loves his cheese. So I don't see anything aggressive here at a Reaper. It looks like he's just going to go hatch first here. and Disrespect probably is going to go one gas, then Barracks, most likely. You are the Terran expert, though. How do you think Disrespect should open up here against Reaper, knowing that Reaper's doing, he's a little bit more of an aggressive Zerg?
Yeah, so the nice thing about TVZ is it's a very dynamic matchup, especially in the current meta. So a lot of openings are very, very viable. Usually, of course, you will see the Reaper first. That's just standard. Usually a Terran won't skip the Reaper unless they are... I mean, I don't even think there's really a reason to skip the Reaper. There's no reason to skip the Reaper. It is just such a good early game unit. You'll see that first, of course. But from there's a few options. We've seen the 2-1-1 kind of come back into the meta a little bit. It's been brought back, especially seeing Beyond be successful with it. But more often than not, what you're going to see is you're going to see a Destiny Cloudfist, a 1-1-1 build where you get the Barracks, Factory, Starport. You're not going to get the second gas until your third CC goes down into a straight-up macro game. And then from there, it's really the Terran's choice of if they want to prioritize Hellion production, if they want to go 2 Hellions into a 4 Widowmine drop. That's a little bit less of a build you'll see. Excuse me, you'll see that more in TVP. But there's really a lot of options off of that for the Terran. When it comes to timing attacks, when it comes to any sorts of pushes that they want to do, really a lot of them are very viable in the current meta. It's really just what matters the most is how the Zerg is able to scout it.
And this Reaper here on the natural expansion of Reaper, he's getting in. He's taking fire there to the Zerglings, but it looks like Reaper's going to have a pretty decent defense there, especially since the Queen just popped. Zergling speed is about almost halfway done, so this Reaper, if it's going to be able to do damage in here anytime soon, it's going to need to jump in that main, get a spot, check the timing on the lair, which actually just went down. Is that like a really fast lair in your opinion? I feel like that's really fast.
Oh, that's really fast.
Yes.
That's a really fast lair. Yeah, that is sub 3 minutes. I mean, pretty much, if you're seeing that, and also, I love Reaper here just positioning the forward lanes at the top of the jump up cliff. That's great. That's just Reaper knowing that, hey, listen, I can't really let this guy see the fact that I'm going for this super fast lair, because this is essentially confirming that it might actually be, I think, an Nidus. Usually you don't get Zergling speed if you're going into early roaches. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Reaper pop down a Nidus in game 1, and Romanticide is a great map for that. There's so much room in that main base to just sneak a little Overlord in and pop down that Nidus network.
Especially now, since Disrespect has Liberators on the way, I feel like there's a lot of space behind the bases where you can get in there with a sneaky Liberator and take out a few drones. So it's going to really be up to Reaper on how he wants to defend that. I don't think he's actually gone more forward into the base with the Overlord yet. So I don't think he's going to see this coming, to be honest. He is going for Spire, though.
Yeah, it's not a Nidus network. It's a Spire. I was thinking maybe Nidus, it's not going to be Roaches because, of course, the speed. But no, it's a 2-base Spire, which is, I haven't seen this in a while. It's really a build that, I mean, it depends on your opponent not being ready for it. Because you need to get damage with it, or else the Terran is going to have a faster third base, and they're going to be able to push it across the map. But hey, I mean, Disrespect, he hasn't been able to scout it out. His vision has mostly been denied, and even pushing forward with these 4 Reapers and a Hellion, or these 4 Hellions and a Reaper, he might not be able to even get to that main. This Liberator, though, it could save him. Because if this scouts the Spire, that is absolutely huge, and it's on a path straight towards it.
Yes, this Liberator is in a beeline now. It's going right by the Spire. I'm pretty sure he sees it now. All the drones are going to be pulled here, so good on Reaper for pulling the drones and not losing any drones there. Hellions, meanwhile, over here at the third base, they're laying fire, and will he get a cancel on it? Pretty sure he should cancel that. In fact, he may be able to just hold this with this many Lings on the field. Baneling nest about 75% complete, and Muta's on the way.
Yeah, first Muta's already out, but, I mean, just that Liberator, even though it didn't get any worker kills, so much value there, because Disrespect, he scouts that, hey, this is 2-base Mutalisk. I just need to get my missile turrets. I need to make sure I have bio in position and play defensive. And that's all that he needs to do right now, because his third base is faster than the Zergs. He already has his orbital command morphing. The third hatchery is not even done for Reaper. And I mean, it's so huge for Disrespect to scout this. And it now puts Reaper in a position where he's going to have to be the one to get damage done, because the Terran, on equal basis with the Zerg, is so happy to just sit back and say, all right, I'll take a macro game.
Not only that, but Disrespect is going for reactored Widow Mines right now, so I feel like that's such an excellent counter to the Muta play that Reaper's decided to go with right now. All it takes is, to hide like a little mine here or there on the map, and then all of a sudden your Mutas are extremely bruised when they're going into the fight. Especially if Disrespect decides later to go into Vikings. So he's preferring his heavy Marine play at the moment. And I've noticed that currently there are no upgrades right now on the way for Zerg, and we got +1 infantry weapons, almost 75% complete for Disrespect. So here momentarily, Disrespect is going to be playing in an advantageous position, at least when it comes to upgrades at the moment. Banelings are about to come out, though, and so is Baneling Speed.
Yeah, it's going to be scary here, I think, for, Reaper, even with the Banelings, it's just the 2-base Muta is such a big investment, because when you think about it, it's 200 minerals, 200 gas, plus the Mutalisk investment, which has already been 10, and those have not been able to get any damage so far. Disrespect has been really on top of just moving his Marines around, being proactive with them, so that the Mutalisks are never able to just dive in onto a position without the Marines immediately being there to counter. And now you're seeing that worker count, Reaper's only up 5 workers. And at the 7-minute mark, that's really not a lot for a Zerg.
No, and Reaper's trying to find an opening here with his Mutas, and I feel like at the moment he's just kind of being a little indecisive about where he wants to attack. I know he tried to fly into the natural, but I'm not sure if he noticed that there is a Widow Mine there. He doesn't have any vision there, so I don't think he would. But, just like I was saying before, like, all it takes is that one Widow Mine hit, and now all of a sudden your Mutas are all bruised, and there's so many Marines on the field right now for Disrespect. Huge
nice
Baneling hits, though.
Yep, right into the third base. Gets 9 SCVs, and that's fairly valuable. It does open up that worker lead for Reaper, which is absolutely what he needs right now as he's placing down that 4th hatchery. And the Ling Bane is going to be the next phase of the game for the Zerg. Off of this, Reaper has been able to transition pretty comfortably. It's still a bit scary when you're looking at, just how big Disrespect's army is getting. And these Widow Mine hits every time a Mutalisk goes down. Again, they're not getting damage. So every Mutalisk loss is just straight up a loss for Reaper. But he already has Burrow on the way, and it looks like while it's going to be that 2-2 push from Disrespect, Reaper here, he's going to need to get a really strong defense in order to defend this.
So it looks like Disrespect is actually sending out a drop at the moment, double Widow Mine, so he's probably going to circle around the left side, probably place them in the natural or in the 4th of Reaper. So we're going to see a little bit more aggressive play out of Disrespect here as he gets out onto the map. Got to be a little worrisome, though. There are Mutas sharking around. They are looking for that. 2 Widow Mines out here in the middle get caught by the Mutas, and they take it out. So really done there by Reaper to catch that. Meanwhile, Disrespect is moving out onto the map now with his Marine and Hellion force, and his 4th is sitting comfortably down now. So mules are on the way. I personally think that Disrespect is sitting just a tiny bit in the lead right now in this best of 5.
It's not a ton. Reaper has been doing a good job of keeping Disrespect at home. He stopped the Terran from trying to make that 1-1 push that usually they'll want to go for. But aside from that, it has been really just, it has been all Disrespect just macroing up. Again, he has that 2-2 on the way. It's only 1-1 on this Ling Bane, and 15 drones go down. And again, it's just splitting the attention. He knows that the Mutalisks are diving in, brings in the medevac. Even as the observer, you don't really notice it. Dives on in, 15 drones go down.
Yep.
And suddenly that worker lead that Reaper had is completely gone, and he's actually down 8 workers or so. It just feels like when this 2-2 push hits, even if Disrespect doesn't trade well, it's not really going to matter because he's so far ahead.
And he just made a round of drones, like 10 drones now, so he's not building army for when this actually comes and hits. So Reaper, it's going to be a very dicey position here for Reaper when it comes to the defense. He does have a lot of Ling and Bane right now. Currently sitting on 33 Banelings and 68 Lings, so very, very massive Baneling Muta army here at a Reaper, almost completely maxed out on it. Meanwhile, Disrespect has his 2-2. So this next engagement here is going to be heavily in favor of Disrespect, unless, of course, Reaper, gets some amazing Baneling hits or comes in with a surround or a sandwich or something, specifically that puts Reaper in an advantageous position. Meanwhile, there's still more Lings and Mutas on the way. And +1 for his ground army is only about halfway done, so...
Yeah, I love the Burrow Banelings there, but here comes the Zerg surrounding. We're talking about it, maybe just getting all around this Terran army. Doesn't matter how good the Widowmine hits are, that entire chunk of Terran forces is going to get cleaned up. And one thing I was going to mention is I really wish that Disrespect had started pushing out just a little bit sooner. He was being very passive with the macro, and of course he's on equal basis with the Zerg, but he was just letting Reaper have map control. I feel like that's something that he could have combated, and now that he loses that fight, you suddenly have Reaper going to be diving on into this third base, and it's a Nuffling Bane that you can't really fight it without the Widow Mines, and even then the Widow Mines are burrowing late. We'll see how the hits are. They're pretty good, but the friendly fire also cleans up a ton of Marines, and I think Disrespect, he just gave too much respect to Reaper, and what is there left for the Terran? He has a massive bank, but there's no units actually on the map.
Wow. Mutas get in there on top of the production now, pretty much having their free way with Disrespect's main base. I mean, he's only got a couple Marines left. What is left really to defend this? So many medevacs, but nothing really to heal with them. Mines are getting some decent hits on some Lings, but so far Reaper's being very cautious with his Mutas now. Not really losing much to this. 17 more SCVs go down, and I honestly think this may be checkmate.
Yeah, there's not much a Terran can do to recover from this position, and if Disrespect did, it would be magical, but there's just so many Mutalisks. It's 30 Mudmuts! 30 of them just flying around, causing havoc, and sure, there's still a lot of workers for Disrespect, but he needs time to rebuild, and that's time that he's not necessarily going to be given, because you just see Reaper is rallying units across the map. Now, these Widow Mines are being very annoying. And
yes,
if Reaper just walks a ton of his Zerglings into a Widow Mine like that,
ooh,
oh, it's so close. Almost lost that whole chunk of Lings, and that could have maybe given Disrespect the time, but Reaper's just going to dive back on in. And that's one of the biggest dangers of moving out with your whole army like that at once. Disrespect, he knew that Reaper had map control, and he still just pushed out, let himself get sandwiched between the rocks. And again, as I was saying, it's something where you would have loved to see him be a bit more proactive. Those are some great Widow Mine hits, though, and Reaper does have to be careful, because while he's, ahead now, he's not incredibly far ahead. Disrespect still has a large bank.
Yeah, and I mean, Disrespect's still building. I mean, he's still got 9 Marines at a time popping up. He does still have that upgrade advantage over Reaper, so he may be able to trade just a little bit better in these engagements. However, Reaper's starting with the Burrow Baneling play, and just like the mines earlier in the series, all it takes is one good hit to change the sway of the game in your favor. In fact, Reaper comes in and pretty much annihilates everything from Disrespect, and he's going to come in here and most likely just end the game now. Amazing mine hits, though, still at a Disrespect, even though he's pretty much on his death throes at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, those Widow Mines are doing a ton of work, but it might not be enough. There's the GG call. Reaper gets a game number 1 that I gotta say really feels like he should not have won as easily as he did, but that's the dangers of, I mean, just giving up as much map control as Disrespect did. He was so far ahead. Just, again, this is why you see Terrans at the higher levels. They do try and push out. They try and get drops down, and when Disrespect did that, it worked. He got a lot of drone kills. He was able to pick the Ling Bane apart, but it just didn't happen enough. He had to too, and then he moves out his whole army as one clump just through the middle of the map, and hey, Reaper capitalizes, pounces on it, and manages to get the win.
I was just looking actually at the APM of both players. 342 for Disrespect and 305 for Reaper, so they're actually both really fast players, which is actually not very uncommon for a Terran and a Zerg player, to be honest, especially at this level.
Yeah, not at all. I think, again, Disrespect there had a lot of good ideas, and of course it's one of the things where you say, well, APM, how much are you actually using it for? And I feel like Disrespect there, even though he was on even bases, had the 4th. Again, I would love to see more proactivity, because when he was out on the map doing stuff, it was great, worked super well, but it happened like 2 or 3 times. And when you have that much of a lead, it's just being out on the map, having not like small bunches of bio, but 2 or 3 medevacs with 30 or so Marines, that's enough force that the Zerg has to respect if they have to pull their Ling Bane in. You can go backstab with a drop. Just being active like that could really help him expand that lead. So I'd like to see that as we go into the next game, which I believe is going to be onto Beckett Industries.
Very interesting. Beckett, actually a very controversial map. Often banned, so very interesting that we're going to see a TVZ on Beckett. Do you think we'll see anything cheeky out of Reaper?
I doubt it. Actually, Beckett, sorry, out of Reaper, yes.
Yes, definitely.
Beckett is a map that, Beckett is a map that it's really good for Terran because the tank positionings on it are so, are so rough to try and, just deal with. So I would not be surprised if we see Reaper just be a bit more aggressive. If we see him, maybe do a 2-base all-in, maybe, an early pool, 14-14, to try and get that early damage. But we'll have to see. Again, I think this is probably Disrespect's best chance if he wants to be active on the map. This is a map that's very good for it. It's Beckett Industries. Terrans banned this, or Zergs banned this for a reason. It's because this map, the tank positions are just absolutely killer, and there's so much dead airspace for those drops. We'll have to see if Disrespect can take advantage of it, though.
So we are going into it. We are loading up as we speak, so there's no reason to delay. Let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. Game number 2 in this best of 5.
And the bottom left is going to be your green Zerg. I've already forgotten that team name, so I'm not even going to try. You can leave that to you, MoreVox, but it's Reaper.
And in the top right, currently teamless, he is down 1-0 in this best of 5. If he needs to win this series, he needs a comeback. It's Disrespect.
And again, I have my, not issues, but kind of complaints with maybe how Disrespect maneuvered that mid-game in game number 1. But you can't really say too many bad things about it. I think it was a good idea. I think it was well executed macro. It's just the actual micro mechanics of it was what was missing there. And, well, Disrespect might have to challenge his micro a little bit more, because here's a proxy hatchery from Reaper.
Yeah, so proxy hatchery at what would be the 4th of Disrespect. Most likely going to see, an early queen out of this? Maybe he's going to build some spines? I really don't see what exactly he's gonna be using this for. I feel like if he wanted to be more aggressive, he probably should have taken the natural, but maybe he doesn't want Disrespect to know this is coming.
Yeah, so this is a build that I think I've seen a few times, and it's a really, really cheeky opener. You see the double gas going down, so it is most likely going to be a Roach Warren, and it's going to be a Roach Ravager rush. But the early, or the closer hatchery, it's less likely to be scouted because it's at the 3rd. It also just means that your Roaches and Ravagers, they're just that much closer to the Terran base. And there we go, Roach Warren going down. This SCV is being sent across the map, though, and that's a nice little change here from Disrespect. Didn't do that in last game. He's going to be able to scout, no natural. And if he goes up to the main, he'll see that Roach Warren, which is going to clue him in.
Yeah, SCV goes right by the natural, sees that there's no hatchery there, and immediately Disrespect should be thinking, what is going on? He sends the Reaper out, and I'm pretty sure he's going to spot this creep. It's going to go right past it. So Disrespect knows this is coming, but whether or not he got into the main, he also spotted the Roach Warren. So personally, I feel like Disrespect should be ready for this. But, in a world of, the most competitive StarCraft play, it's going to be up to Disrespect to handle this correctly.
Yeah, and actually you see the SCVs being pulled here. They're going to stop that from being, or stop the CC from being delayed, but it's already 3 Roaches on the way. Bunker on the high ground. I think personally, I'm not sure how Disrespect is planning to handle this, but that factory is going to finish up fairly soon. You would like to see probably that CC reposition. It's not going to go up. The Roaches will cancel it. That's just a fact of the matter if the focus fire is there. And you see even Reaper just walking up the Roaches, focus it onto the SCV, and ooh, that's an open wall. Bunker is going to go down and close it off. But this is the damage that Reaper wants. I don't think Reaper should commit anymore, because of course Disrespect has full knowledge of what this push is, is completely aware as to the tech that Reaper has behind this. And so committing more could put him in risk of just straight up losing if Disrespect has the right response. You already see the Cyclone on the way.
Exactly, and he's already got a full bunker up. Well, it was a full bunker there for a minute. So Disrespect is going to be pretty good. He shouldn't lose the game out right here. Reaper may be able to get in and do a little bit more damage, and there comes the repairs. He pulls the SCVs, and bunker goes down. What happened there? I feel like he didn't react enough for that. I feel like he didn't take it seriously, in a way.
No, where were the workers, Disrespect? That is a situation. In order to repair a bunker through biles, especially 3 or 4 of them, you need to have about 7 to 8 workers repairing the bunker, and that will just barely give you enough to be able to repair through the bile burst. And even then, the roaches just walked up. You need to have workers ready to repair. You need to have that full wall beforehand. You need to have your bunker guarding your wall right off the bat. That's just, again, it's just a situation. Disrespect has all the information. He has everything he needs in order to maneuver that to a win. And just, it feels like he's giving, I don't know if it's like simultaneously too much respect in game 1 and then not enough respect to that roach push in game 2.
Pretty much you got to find that nice sweet spot for the amount of respect and disrespect you want to give your opponent every game.
Yeah, and it feels like Disrespect has somehow managed to land on either side of it in both games. But yeah. Oh yeah. Also, MoreVox. There's if you go into Discord, there's a little arrow that says hide members, so you can hide those little ugly camera things. Just a little fun fact about that. But yeah, I don't know. That's something where you look at it and you say that's not what you want to see, especially when it's from or it's gonna happen. Like, he scouted out for it, and he still was like, actually, I don't need my SCVs pulled. It's like, okay, Disrespect. I really would have loved to see that done a little bit better.
And it looks like our next map is going to be 2,000 atmospheres.
Yeah, I mean, we might have a swift end to this series depending on how Reaper decides to handle this game number 3, because, again, so far I have felt like Disrespect's macro hasn't been bad. It's just when it comes down to microing it, there is just, I don't know. He's being outclassed. He's being outdone. And we're on to 2,000 atmospheres for game number 3. And this is not a position you want to be as a Terran.
Definitely not. Let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. We're ready to go. And up here in the top right, he's currently playing for Demanicus Gaming. I'm still not sure if I'm saying that right. It's Reaper.
And down 0-2, down in the bottom left of 2,000 atmospheres. He's had some great macro in game number 1, but you gotta pay attention to those units. You gotta respect the Zerg output of damage. And he's perhaps been disrespecting that? It's disrespect.
So nothing too aggressive yet out of Reaper. I mean, besides that last game we saw, he hasn't been overly aggressive. I see a lot of cheese out of Reaper, a lot, in some of the games that I have casted of his. Right now, it looks like he just went hatch first, so not going for anything cheeky. No proxy, roach, and ravager push like the last game. So looks like we're going to see a pretty standard game here on 2,000 atmospheres.
Yeah, and Reaper is even a player that I would have expected to throw in a 14-14, where you just get out those earlier lings, delay the CC, and then bring that into a Ling Bane bust. But there hasn't been any of that. He's seemed perfectly fine on these larger maps where it's harder to cheese to go, at least with a fairly standard opening. We, of course, don't know what the transition is going to be out of that if he does go into, a roach timing attack, if he's going to go again into the 2-base muta, which I would say I don't want to see, because Disrespect honestly handled the 2-base muta well. It was just the follow-up into the mid-game that he did not maneuver in the best way.
And Reaper is about to complete here for Disrespect, so he will be able to get over there with the Reaper and, just double check what Reaper is up to. Funny though, talking about a Reaper when also there is also a player named Reaper. So Reaper will check Reaper,
Mm-hmm.
maybe kill a couple of
Well,
Reaper's workers. So pretty much what's going on right now. Circling speed is started up. Meanwhile, factory about 50% complete from Disrespect.
yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, this is actually something that I find really amusing. So, my StarCraft 2 username, for those who don't know, is actually Firebird. And the reason why it's that is because my name is Phoenix. And for the longest time, it was the worst when I would be watching my StarCraft 2 on my phone, keeping track of, the ESL tournaments, and they'd be talking about a Protoss player going Phoenix, and my family would look at me and they'd be like, hey, you're in the game. And I'd be like, haha, funny joke. It's always interesting, but yeah. I love StarCraft 2 player names where they are also something in the game or a word that you use a lot, like Haas. It's a great player name because you use the word has so much. And as a caster, you just have to think about it a little bit. It makes you think a little bit more. You can't go full monkey brain on your casting.
Very, very true. And it looks like a starport is about to finish up here for Disrespect. So something that I've been seeing a lot from Terran players in the TVZ meta is actually getting up a Viking and then going for a Cloak and getting Banshees. So I'm actually curious if we're going to see that today at a Disrespect. Looks like he's just going for the standard 2 Hellion and Reaper attack. But he is getting concussive shells, so... and Marauders.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this does. This is a build you don't see very often at all. The Concussive Shell Marauder with the Hellbats is a variation on the Hellbat push, the Hellbat timing attack that a lot of Korean pros, for some reason, I don't know why, like to try and fit into their best of series, even though it almost never works. But this is actually a variation that I really like because if the opponent goes mass queens in order to defend it, or has a lot of queens in order to defend it, the Marauders actually stop them from kiting as well. And so it allows the Hellbats to get on top of the queens a lot easier. So it's a really, really interesting push, and we'll see how Disrespect does with it. And the really good thing about this is, this build hits before the Spire is done. So this build, this timing attack, is going to land. There's going to be Lings out, but it's not going to be a lot. That Spire from 2 bases, again from Reaper, is not going to be up in time. And I don't know if he can hold on to this. There's already a Spinecrawler going down, but a Spinecrawler is not really enough.
So many Hellbats along with a Reaper and a landed Viking coming into the natural here. Immediately, Queen has to run back into the main. In comes a medevac, though. A couple more Marauders are getting dropped here. Drones are getting pulled, and this is just spiraling out of control here for Reaper.
Yeah, there's just not enough here for him to defend. Again, he went for the 2-base Spire. You have 6 Mutalisks on the way, but you've already lost 7 drones, and you're on 2 bases. That's not good, because behind this, you already see Disrespect. He has an armory, so he just builds a Thor. Just says, oh yeah, I could build this. I have all the tools I need in order to get the splash damage that does well against Mutalisks. The drones are running, but this might just be a barbecue, because those Hellbats, they're a little bit faster. 13 drones going down, and this is absolutely brutal for Reaper.
There are some Lings getting into the natural of Disrespect. Took down quite a few SCVs and kind of got out of there, but like you said, this may be too much damage, just too little too late from Reaper. And drones are becoming a barbecue now, and Mutas are literally on top of the Marauders, and Marauders can't shoot up. Things are not looking good for Reaper here in game number 3.
Oh no, I love how Disrespect just said, actually my Hellbats, they're not gonna be able to catch up to the drones, so I'm just gonna morph them into Hellions, and those Hellions alone added on 20 more worker kills. 36 go down, Reaper's at 5 workers, there's a Thor already on the field with the second being produced. There's no way you fight back from this. I love that build choice from Disrespect. And yeah, I mean, that is, you know what? I guess that, I say this every time I see a Hellion attack work. I guess that's why Terrans go for the Hellion timing attack, the Hellbat timing attack.
Yeah, and then Mutas and Lings are going to get over here in Disrespect's natural, but Auto GG pretty much instantaneously in Disrespect actually taking a spot on the board now, bringing up to 2-1.
Yeah, and as I said, I love the build choice alone, where you know that on a macro map like Romanticide, there was the 2-base Muta that Reaper went for, and transitioned that into a macro game, and he won with it. So he's saying, well, if he wants to do that again on a similarly large macro map, I'm going to go an aggressive build that is able to get on top of this production before Mutalisks are out. Because if you do go with a regular Hellbat timing attack, it actually doesn't hit as fast. That is a faster timing attack than others that you would go with perhaps Cloaked Banshees. So I really do love that build and that just build choice for that game. It gets Disrespect a win. And now we're going to be heading into map number 4, which is Oxide.
Oxide. Interesting.
Another big map.
So
maybe we'll see a proper macro game.
Yeah, I was just literally about to say that. Maybe we'll see somewhat of a normal game finally. But Disrespect is going to definitely need to do something to tie this up. I mean, he may decide to play a little bit more cautious and defensively just because he's down 1 in this best of 5. But it would be really cool if we saw something ridiculous at a Disrespect. Maybe double proxy barracks into like a Reaper rush or something.
That could be really cool if we do see some sort of a cheesy build come out here from the Terran. And I do like Disrespect being aggressive because one of the things about Reaper's aggression is it is not like an all-in off one base. It's something where he does try and at least have a little bit of ability macro behind it. And my camera is frozen. I'm going to try and see if turning my camera on and off will fix it. But it's really cool. There we go. Now we got it working. It's just a build I really like. I'd love to see again some aggression from Disrespect because it has been proven in the macro game just was not ready for the Lingbane.
So at the moment, I think we're just waiting on Disrespect. I think maybe he needed a quick break.
Yeah, and I do apologize if my camera does break occasionally. I am running off of iffy Wi-Fi at best, so occasionally it will lag a little bit.
It's okay. You're still here. We can still hear your magnificent voice. We can still get the great analytical casting. So I feel like we still get a win out of this.
Absolutely. And you know what? If it's a good freeze frame, it does the same job.
It's all right. I mean, maybe, a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it does what it needs to do. As we have the ready checks, we're heading into game number 4. Disrespect. Is he looking for the reverse sweep, perhaps?
I really would like to see it. And if you guys want to see it, please get hyped in chat. Let us know who you're rooting for here in this best of 5. We're going to go ahead and jump into it. Game is loaded here on Oxide. All right.
The top.
Go ahead.
I was waiting for it to happen. I was waiting for it.
Go for it.
In the top right of Oxide, it's going to be your green. Zerg up 2-1. Trying to close out the series. It's Reaper.
Lots of love for Reaper in the chat, guys. Please give us more love. Let us know you guys are alive out there. Let us know if you're rooting for this guy over here in the bottom left. He's your teamless Red Terran. It's Disrespect. So
I was going to say that freeze frame that we did get was not the best.
No worries, my friend. Of course, video is a plus to have there on that screen. But, of course, we are here for your casting. Please, guys, go and check out Titan. If you guys haven't already, he has a Twitch and a Twitter page. Please go give him a follow, guys. And, of course, give me a follow if you guys are digging this. I will be doing some more casting here in the future. So if you guys want to stay updated with what I'm doing, what I'm casting, give me a follow. It's greatly appreciated. Of course, my YouTube channel is there. And if you guys want to add to the prize pool, check out Matcherino. Throw in $5 if you got it. It goes to the players, so money is going to a good place. It's always great when players can make a little bit more money. Looks like we're going to see a Reaper opening here out of Disrespect. Meanwhile, it looks like we had, what was a 14 pool, 14 hatch?
Yeah, it does appear as this was, I think, a 14-14 pool gas into the 16 hatchery. It does mean that your hatchery is slightly more delayed, but you get out these early 6-lings and speed, which I think if Reaper knows this build, and I do believe that this is a timing that he does a lot, you can actually slide the lings out around where the Reaper usually goes, but never mind. It's the SCV Scout once again from Disrespect, striking again and stopping Reaper from pulling out his early shenanigans. But never mind, there's a Roach Warren.
Immediately, you know, the SCV goes down, and I look at the production, and I see that the Roach Warren is halfway done now. And now we're seeing, you know, Disrespect in a position where things may get a little iffy here very soon. He is going for a factory, so we may see that Hellion play once again out of Disrespect. But I feel like if he does that again, it's just going to be an auto loss to the Roach attack incoming here from Reaper.
Yeah, I doubt we're going to see the Hellbat timing attack once again, but the Reaper, oh, it's going to get on in. There's no Queens. Does he go to the back of the middle line?
And he sees
Disrespect. He sees it again. And if there's one thing that Disrespect has been good at this whole series, it is getting information. He has been very good about being on top of his scouting. And again, now it's a question of, does he have the right response? And I love these changes. Command center on the high ground with a bunker that is covering the wall. This is what you need to do.
Exactly. Disrespect is showing us just how much to respect Reaper at this point. Keeping his command center up on the high ground, putting down a bunker, going for a Cyclone, all things are going to put Disrespect in a position where he pretty much can't auto-lose at this point. Starport is going down, of course. Right now, Reaper is only building Lings at this moment, so Roach Warren is complete. So how invested is Reaper into this?
Well, it's going to be pretty invested. Those 3 Roaches that he did build are across the map, and of course, this isn't a build that's trying to kill your opponent. It's trying to get light damage, and then usually this actually does follow up into a Spire, but it's not quick. It does not happen, you know, off the bat. It's just meant to do light pressure onto the Terran, as we see the Bile's going down. I would love to see a repair. Again, Disrespect. Where's the repair? The supply depot just goes down. The Cyclone's getting sandwiched. And again, where is the micro here? Finally enough SCVs pulled. The bunker is going to go down, though, as the SCVs drilling onto one of the Ravagers. The Marines are still alive. And I think Disrespect, despite losing a few workers, he's held this. And that is all that he needs. He needs to replace that supply depot, use these SCVs to fight. Because Reaper, again, he cut worker production. He's only at 15 himself. Excuse me.
And at this point, Disrespect, it looks like, you know, he's got this. He's going to be able to hold. He's going to put that supply depot back down. So Disrespect is going to, Reaper is going to have to push in there again with the Biles. But with that Cyclone there, I feel like Reaper's kind of lost his opening to do damage with this. That may be about what he gets done. Only 11 SCVs do go down. And Reaper's still going to try to push in here, but I don't feel like he's going to really commit to much more damage here. He does put down his natural is there, but currently nothing mining from it. No drones yet sent there. He's still building Lings, so I feel like this is going to continue.
I mean, it's going to continue, but look how many Lings go down before the wall even breaks.
Yes.
I mean, the Cyclone's still alive. There's no Ravagers. It just feels like Reaper was he's still going all in. Like, just pull away, Reaper. You can just macro up off 2 bases. You're fine. The Terran's still on 1 base.
It almost makes me think, like, why would he even put down that hatchery? I feel like it's kind of like a safety hatchery. Just in case this doesn't work, he's going to go back to mining. But I felt like if he didn't waste that, 300 minerals on that hatchery, maybe he could have invested just a little bit more Roaches and Ravagers into this push. Do you think maybe Reaper got maybe a little bit too indecisive there?
I think the hatchery is meant to distract. It's meant to, if your opponent only does just a scout very quickly with a Reaper, they're going to see the hatchery, they're going to think, oh, okay, this is a standard macro game, and then the push comes. But again, Disrespect was on top of the scouting. He knew that it was going to be pressure, and this could have just been light pressure from Reaper. It could have just been those 3 Roaches. He got a lot of damage with the early Lings and the Roaches, even up the worker count, and from there, you can drone back up perfectly fine. You're actually going to be ahead as the Zerg if you do that. Go to 3 bases and go into your Spire, because that's what that build is supposed to do. It's an opening with the light pressure with the 3 Roaches into just macroing up 3 base Spire. But I don't know, Reaper just went so all in, and he's going to keep going all in. But as soon as Disrespect, defends this push, he has Hellions out already. Yeah, GG. Reaper just can't do anything. Disrespect takes game number 4, and suddenly we're headed to an ace match.
That's really cool that he was able to tie it up. We were just talking about that, about literally having him pull this back, and it looks like your camera is completely down.
Oh no! How awful.
No worries.
We'll see if we can get it back working. If not, that's all right. You guys will just have to deal with my voice. But we're going to game 5, and that's more exciting than technical issues. So yeah, I mean, as you said, the changes that we've been seeing here are exactly what we wanted from Disrespect. And sure, like maybe the micro isn't there as much as we'd like, but it's good. It is doing enough in order to stop Reaper. And now we're headed to game 5, and I'm kind of worried because Reaper, he's tried 2 aggressive builds in a row, 2 kind of cheesy builds, and it's just been completely shut down.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Reaper may be a little tilted at this point. He may feel like, his life is on the line here in this tournament. Disrespect just pulled 2 games pretty much out of his ass immediately. So as soon as we started talking about a reverse sweep, he immediately brought it back. So we actually got a very, very hype series here, guys. Please let us know who you want to win this. We're going to jump into it. Game number 5. Here we go.
And in the top left, Green Zerg, he's dropped the last 2 games. What does he have up his sleeve of many, many tricks and Zergy cheeses? It's Reaper.
And in the bottom right, our Red Terran, he clawed his way back into the series. Now 2-2. Will he take this match? It's Disrespect. So immediately, I'm thinking, what is Reaper going to do? Considering he's now in a position where he's lost 2 games in a row. It looks like he's just going to open up with a hatch first here. So nothing aggressive out of Reaper so far.
No, that's a proxy
Nope,
hatch.
nope, that is definitely... I'm sorry, I did not see that drone moving across the map. The hatch goes down at the 3rd, or what will be the 4th position of Disrespect. So once again, we're going to see that Roach Ravager push. Will Disrespect be ready for it, though?
Well, here's the thing. Disrespect, he lost against it in Game 2. In Game 4, saw a version of it and kind of defended it. He defended it well enough. So I really feel like again, Disrespect, all he has to do, he needs to make sure that he repairs the supply depots long enough that he can get up a full bunker with the Cyclone and repair the bunker.
Yes.
This is the most important thing, is to repair the bunker. Because if you can set up that Sim City, and one thing that I even like to do is if you know that your opponent likes to go for these roach pushes, is you can actually build your CC next to the barracks to the point where it blocks off that supply depot, and then you build your bunker, and it creates another mini wall that's actually super efficient against these rushes. But Disrespect's playing it safe. There's the SCV scouts, no natural hatchery, and he's just going to go around the back, see the roach warren. He knows what's happening, and it's all on the Terran to respond.
In fact, Disrespect actually got a Reaper over there and confirms that the hatchery is there. So Disrespect, he's going to have to actually put up a fight here. He's going to need to be able to do his repair on his bunker this time. He is going for his CC on the high ground, so if he could defend this, it's going to put him in a really good position economically. He can just easily flow his command center down, but of course, he's going to need to defend this incoming attack first.
And again, as we said, we love the high ground CC. It's exactly what he needs to do against a cheesy Zerg. And there's immediately the 3 roaches coming out. The bunker is already done. Factory is on the way, and I wouldn't even mind seeing a Widow Mine produced first, just to soften up those roaches so that they can't dive in. That, I think, would be a really nice move. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do instead see that Cyclone as, ooh, that Creep Tumor might go down.
Almost.
Disrespect. Trying to micro it a bit too much. There's 3 Ravagers. Can the Terran hold it? That's the question that we have for the day.
And now, Disrespect lost that Reaper, so he's a little bit in the dark as when this attack is going to be coming. I'm pretty sure he assumes that it's going to be coming pretty much immediately here. Reaper getting set up with his Ravagers, getting that Overlord in so he can get that vision and start poking on the supply depots. Bunker is there, of course, so we will see those SCVs pulled to do the repair. And it looks like maybe this time Disrespect is going to take this a little bit more seriously. I would really like it if Disrespect lifted that barracks maybe and just placed it a little bit back so they didn't take so much damage here. It does look like Reaper is expanding behind this, so good on him for that.
Yeah, I think Reaper realized that he just went too all in the last game, so has that natural hatchery coming up, is going to be just working on getting up a solid drone count behind this, because as soon as that Cyclone is out, this rush is done. You can't really press anymore, especially if Disrespect actually chases this down, because again, he has high ground vision and can do so. I wouldn't even mind taking out the Marines and just chasing these Ravagers down. But as soon as the Overlord dies, that should be it. Nice micro here from Reaper, though. To be honest, he's actually getting as much damage as he possibly could hope for. but it will be cleaned up.
Yep, Viking does come out, takes out the Overlord, pretty much ending the vision there that Reaper had into the main of Disrespect. Disrespect is firing now on the Queens with his Cyclone, so I'm pretty sure, Reaper's still probably going to poke in here and try to do some damage, but he did expand behind this, so I don't think he's going to go all in. He has got a layer about 50% of the way up, so we're going to see what the tech path he chooses here. Will he go Mutas again is the question. Reaper has been favoring the Muta play, especially here in his ZVT. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Reaper, or the, if we see Reaper go for the Spire, not if we see the Reaper.
And here,
I think it would be a good choice, because the Terran is still on one base, and you actually have this really nice creep spread. You're keeping the Cyclones from pushing you back, and this is where I actually prefer the Siege Tank to defend this, because you can have an unsieged Siege Tank that has the same range as the Ravagers and is able to push them back enough that you can get out a solid Marine count and then siege it. So I actually do prefer that response, and we do finally see the Siege Tank coming out. And you also have Disrespect pushing around with this Viking, clearing up all of the Overlord vision. But it's going to be a while before he can put down that natural base. And at this point, I might even consider floating it down to the third, but that's already covered with creep. Disrespect really just needs to break this contain. He has enough to do it. He's just playing way too safe. And sure, the Banshees are here, but those should probably be sent across the map, because that Spire is halfway done.
Yeah, and Disrespect is not going to see these Mutas coming, honestly. And right now, Disrespect is currently only sitting on one base. So if those Mutas get in here and do a ton of damage and wipe out the SCV line, that's pretty much it for Disrespect. He doesn't really got much else. He does have Cloak here about to finish, and he's going for a Raven, but this contain here on Disrespect, Reaper is choking him out here in game number 5.
Yeah, again, you got to be aggressive with these Cyclones. You can afford to be. They do a lot of damage. You don't need to be this safe. You can move the tank forward. There's no Overlord for vision. And again, this contain is just going on a bit too long. This contain should not have been this strong. It should have been broken long ago. But I feel like Disrespect just giving a bit too much. Again, this is like game 1 where he gives too much map control over to Reaper. And now we have 4 Mutalisks on the way. And, there are some Cyclones. Those will be able to push them back. But the Banshees haven't been sent across the map. The Raven is sitting at home. I just feel like there's a whole lot here that is just not really being done from Disrespect. He's just not doing anything.
And just like people in chat are saying, they're asking, why does he have 40 SCVs on one base? Well, it's because Reaper has been so effective with this creep spread. Since the very beginning of this game, he's denied Disrespect the opportunity to get out there and expand. And the Mutas now, they're going in and trying to get some damage. 2 SCVs do go down, but Disrespect is pretty good with his defense, keeping his Marines there. He does have a turret in his mineral line and a Viking. So, honestly, what else does Reaper really get done with these Mutas now, considering Disrespect is pretty much turtling harder than any time a Terran will ever turtle. He's like the super turtle at this point.
I just don't get why he needs to turtle. Look at the army that's actually outside of this base from Reaper. Look at it. It's 6 Ravagers and 4 Mutalisks. And you're telling me that 18 Marines do not beat that? Like, I don't understand why Disrespect is playing so passive, and I get it, you don't want to allow the Zerg just come in and wipe you out. But at this point, you know that Reaper has a second base. You know that he's macroing up out of this because there's Mutalisks.
Mutalisks do try to get in here, but Disrespect really being really good with his army positioning. Not allowing Reaper to get in there with the Mutas and deal really that much damage. He is going to pull down the ramp now and start taking out these creep tumors. In come the Ravagers. Of course, they're going to try to get as many biles off as they can. But at this point, Disrespect has to do something. Eventually, he's going to run out of minerals, which he's already ran out on one of the patches. And he just has so many SCVs stacked up on these mineral lines. Meanwhile, Reaper has a third base up and mining. So at this point, Disrespect is on a clock. And he needs to do something.
Yeah, he finally scans the army and realizes, wait, I have Stim. I just win this fight. So he's going to push down. He's going to clear up the creep. And, I mean, about time. It really should have happened sooner. But, don't siege the tank. That's already going to go down. But finally, Disrespect might be able to lift off, 2 of his 3 CCs that he has in his main and try and get something done. But again, it's just... There was really no reason for this contain to go on for so long. Finally, the Marines just stem through, clear up all the creep. But now the Mutalisks looking for this backstab. How much damage they can get done? Not a lot. There's already Marines there.
Reaper is continuing to build mutas here in the last game of this series. He is going for Baneling speed in his +1. I'm sorry, that is +1, right? +1 air weapons on the just now finished for his Mutalisks. Disrespect, he's still building Marines. Marines, good unit. He's going to fly his command center down into his natural and shoo away these mutas. So finally, Disrespect is going to start mining on his natural expansion now. 9 minutes and 43 seconds into this game. But Mutalisks, they're making a beeline for that natural. And so many SCVs just went down there. Disrespect a little bit out of positioning there to defend that.
Yeah, I mean, again, Disrespect just kind of F2ing his army around. It was just 12 workers, but of course he had a very healthy count because he was continually building off 3 CCs even while he was contained onto one base. And now it's just about transferring these workers. Lay down the third, transfer workers out of your main, there we go. And he should be able to start to mine very, very efficiently. And once Disrespect does that, it's then also about buying enough time for him to get a solid army up. Because right now, you have Reaper. He's already working on his Baneling speed. He's already going to be working, on +2 ground attacks and flyer attacks. It's going to be a really strong Zerg push with Banelings. And I don't think there's enough here for the Terran. There's not even one tank.
Disrespect is kind of separated here. He has a little chunk of his army here at his third and has, a little ragtag force at his natural as well. He's going to need to be able to split here to perfectly defend this because most likely Reaper here is going to do a double-pronged attack here with his, or he may just decide, I'm just going to A-move. At this point, he's just going to bring his army up in here to the natural. Disrespect is going to have to defend this. Baneling's crashing onto Marines. So many Marines go down, and I think this is just it. I think that Reaper is actually going to take this game now. Almost everything going down from Disrespect. 136 supply to 66. And GG. Reaper takes game number 5 and takes the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard situation to be in. Disrespect to not realize how many units he had and how much quicker he could have pushed out of that. But that's what happens sometimes when you're giving so much respect to your opponent and their cheese. It is unfortunate for Disrespect. That was a game that was never really in his control. But for Reaper, manages to finally close it out. Took him 5 games. But he's going to be moving on to those finals, and he's going to be facing off against the winner of Binsky and Buster.
Yeah, so while we get set up for this next match between those two players, we're going to hop into just a quick 5-minute break so that we can get the next match set up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Don't go anywhere.
My child, and embrace the glory that is your birthright. Know that I am the Overmind, the eternal will of the Swarm, and that you have been created to serve me. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the way you move. How you like my groove, Dagoff? Well done. Serve the Hive. Feel the groove. I control Awaken, my child, and embrace the glory that is your birthright. Know that I am the Overmind, the eternal will of the Swarm, and that you have been created to serve me. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control...
All right, welcome back, guys. We're getting here into this next game. It's going to be, well, you said Binksky, because I'm looking at different names here, and I'm actually getting very hungry considering one of our players is named Smoked Salmon.
Yes, so I asked the players, Slime Master is indeed Buster, and Smoked Salmon is Binsky. That is what they are called in the Wikipedia. So there's that. But we are going to get into game number one, and while we are loading into the game, I'm going to talk a little bit about these two players, because both of them faced Protoss in the first round. Binsky facing off against Sippy Cup and Buster against Exiled, and they got a 3-0 and a 3-1 respectively. So neither of them having played a Terran in these playoffs, but both of them having played against Terrans in the group stage. Binsky getting a 3-0, 2-0ing Disrespect, and Buster 2-0ing Prototype. So both these players have pretty good TVT, which makes me excited, because in the bottom left of 2,000 atmospheres, ladies and gentlemen, I already forgot his name, so we're just going to call him Salmon.
And then in the top right, we have our blue Terran, currently sitting with the tag Slime Master. It's Binksky, right?
Yes, I believe
Binksky,
so.
yeah.
I really wish. You know, StarCraft 2 would let you just, change someone's name for you only.
Agreed.
I wish you could set a nickname for somebody, because that would make this so much easier.
And a TVT to start off this match on 2,000 atmospheres. So going to be really interesting to see what either player goes for. I feel like Slime Master's just being a little bit cheeky with his barracks placement right now. Kind of hoping that Salmon comes in and scouts the top of the ramp and notices that the barracks is missing. So nice play there. Just a little bit of mind games to start this best of 5 here for Slime Master.
Yeah, and usually you don't see a worker scout in TVT. Most players just kind of say, we know what each other are going. We know if we go for the standard 3 Reaper 2 Hellion opening, it will be able to defend most all cheeses that do end up coming out. So yeah, you just see here Buster comes on in, scouts through, sees the barracks, and well, Binsky, as nice as it is, usually if you're really trying to fool your opponent, you'll actually place that barracks in your natural base by those 2 Vespene geysers. So it was just hoping that Buster was really lax with his scouting if he did send a SCV over, but it's not going to change the opening too much. The only difference that we do have, though, is actually you have Buster here not going for a second gas, which is, again, a bit different, because usually in TVT, it's that standard 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions. It gives you early map pressure, allows you to press across the map. With only 1 gas, well, you're not going to have those units.
And Slime Master, which is Binksky, his factory here is going to be almost complete. So quite a faster factory out of him. And we're going to see exactly what he decides to do here. He decides to immediately drop down his starport. Meanwhile, no command center on the way here for Binksky. Meanwhile, on the other side, Buster has his command center already halfway done. So we're going to see a little bit of what Smoked Salmon is going to choose to do here momentarily. As soon as this factory here is complete, we'll see if he's going to decide to go for Hellions here, or if he's also going to drop his starport. You are the master of Terran, though. You're going to let us know what exactly do you feel like is the go-to here for TVT on this map.
Yeah, so on most standard maps, you will see the build that actually Binsky is going for. It's your standard TVT opening. If you want to play TVT at a decently high level, this is your safe opening, where you're going to go usually 3 Reapers. We only see 2 here from Binsky, but usually 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. That's going to go across the map. It gives you a decent timing on your second CC. Of course, not as quick as the CC after Reaper, which we saw from Buster, but you also see that starport timing is so far ahead for our blue Terran. Already has a Banshee with Cloak on the way, and we'll see. Again, usually I like to see the player push out with these early units, because there's not going to be really anything from your opponent. But he probably expects that Buster has gone for the same opening, in which case this faster CC is just going to be advantageous for Buster.
And
Oh, and even snipes the
losing an SCV, yeah. So slowing down the command center build there. So good on him for doing that. Meanwhile, on the other side, Buster, he's already mining. So Cloak is about to complete here. And I don't think there's any turrets to speak of yet. So this is an opportunity where Binkski's going to need to defend this. He does have a Cyclone here. About 90% complete. And a Raven on the way. So at this moment, I feel like you have a standard TVT where on the other side, he's not really going standard. This doesn't really feel very standard for Buster. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a lot more greedy than you usually expect, but here comes the Banshee. And is there a scan ready? I don't think there's energy here on either of the command centers, and this is actually really awful.
This is really bad.
On in. Yeah, they're getting a ton of damage. 5 workers already going down, and there's not going to be a scan, I mean, for at least another 8 seconds now. This Banshee can continue to get damage, and you can see, I mean, I feel like Binsky here, you just go in. Focus down some Marines, get as much damage as you can. The Banshee will get out when the scan is dropped. Oh, but there's the Raven! Is just going to be able to focus down that Banshee, but still, 6 workers go down. And that's pretty much going to even out that early worker lead that Buster got from the early CC.
And yeah, we still continue to see more Banshees coming out here, so if we don't see, it's still the command center's very low on energy. You know, Buster seems to like his moves at this point. And looks like we had a bot follow us, so that doesn't look like a real follow. So Haas132 or whatever. Meanwhile, this Banshee's going to come in here, and it's getting more and more SCV kills. And things are probably going to spiral out of control here for Buster if he doesn't defend this correctly. He does have another Cyclone here about to pop, and his Raven also. So he will shoo out this Banshee for now, but was damage already done?
Oh.
And Banshee goes down.
The Banshee. Yeah, that's actually really massive. You don't want to lose that Banshee usually, but Binsky is not paying attention. And that means that you have the third Banshee, which usually you only go 2, but we have another one. Might be able to backstab in later when Buster's looking for a push, and that actually might be now. So if this Banshee goes in, it could really hurt our Red Terran here. And actually both players are going to be pushing out, both of them with 2 tanks, with a bunch of Marines saying, actually, I think I can get damage done, and they might just pass like ships in the night. But the Cyclones, they might get caught out. Oh, Buster not paying attention is going to lose both of his Cyclones before the auto turrets even go down. And now, where is that Banshee? It's not going in just yet. Has it been brought back for the fight?
And I feel like Buster there got I felt like he maybe have overextended a little bit there, losing those tanks. He lost 1 tank, I believe, in that engagement. So, or maybe at least almost lost 1 tank, pretty much bruised almost to death. And now we're seeing a position where, how many tanks are on the field right now? 4 tanks to 2, so in favor.
Oh, this Banshee. It's just
That
so
Banshee.
much damage. 8 workers go down, and that's absolutely worthwhile. You have a strong ground army here for Buster. He has the 4 tanks. He has 2 Ravens. It's a very powerful army, but it's just he's been kind of torn apart through these Banshees. Didn't expect the 3rd. He lost both his Cyclones there at the push, had to pull back. And now, again, you're seeing that advantage that Binsky has from the opening with the more gas. He has an earlier stim. He has +1 on the way and a 3rd CC ahead of his opponent because he's used those early units just leverage this advantage.
And it looks like we're going to see another confrontation here in the middle of the map.
Oh,
tanks are sieged, and quite a few Marines go down.
Yeah, and you're seeing the tank diff right there.
Yes, definitely. We're currently looking at 5 tanks to 2, heavily in favor of Buster. Buster has a tank lead right now, but it looks like Binsky's going to send out these 2 medevacs. He's going to try to maybe get something done with them. I don't think it's going to drop. He's just going to drop him here at his 3rd. You know, just wants to make sure he doesn't take any more damage there to slow down that 3rd base. He needs to start mining. His 3rd, however, is going to be a lot faster than Buster's at the moment. His command center is not even complete. It's only about 90% complete now. So I feel like this is an opportunity now for Slime Master to get ahead here in this game, at least economically.
Yeah, you also have that +1 that's going to be coming through, and for the bio, that's such a big upgrade. To have an advantage over your opponent, oh, it's 4 medevacs going out across the map.
Wow,
this is
huge
dangerous.
drop.
If this runs into a Viking, it can be dangerous, but I think this might actually just skirt vision. I'm going to keep an eye out here. Banshees haven't been, or the Medivacs haven't been spotted yet. They're only going to get spotted when they come up to this Viking, and they're going on it, and the Doom drop coming out from Bingsky. He says he wants to end this game now, and he is on top of the production. He's on top of the base. How do you get back in? You might have 4 tanks, but they are not in your main. These Marines actually taking a bit of a long path here to chase down this tank.
And Buster.
Take a bit of extra damage. Oh!
Wow. Kind of caught with his pants down there a little bit. Has to pull pretty much everything back into the main. Doesn't look like there wasn't that much damage done on the production, though, for Buster. But these Marines are still being really annoying. And he's now running into the mineral line, and more SCVs are going to go down, causing the SCVs to actually get pulled there for a second. So it's just putting Bingsky even more ahead. As longer this goes, it's just going to pull more and more ahead.
And he probably could have done more damage with that even if he had dropped straight into the mineral line. Got himself in a really awkward spot where his Marines were chasing down a tank through a bunch of, Sim City. So it wasn't the best push. It wasn't the best attack, but it got what Binsky wanted done. It slowed down the 3rd CC. It got worker kills. It got tank kills especially. And now you're looking at that tank count, and it's just slowly starting to edge closer and closer as Bingsky now has 3 of his own versus the 6 of his opponent. And you see this army, it's positioning. It knows there's going to be an opening between the 3rd and the natural. And if he can get his army wedged in here, that's a really hard position to break.
In come the Marines. The tanks are sieged up. And now we find Buster in a spot where he has to run into tank fire in order to defend his natural. Medivac goes instantly in and drops a bunch of Marines over here next to the refinery. And now, once again, Buster is having to pull SCVs to deal with this. And it feels like he's kind of getting attacked on 2 points now. And he's continuing to lose SCVs. He does have 9 Marines coming out here. He should be able to at least defend this. They are, but just look at the supply.
So far ahead for Binsky right now. 50 supply in the lead, as opposed to his opponent, and has a pseudo contain here where Buster has to keep tanks in position to stop Binsky from pushing, but also has to respect the fact there could be more units moving out. And here we see another force, more Marines, 3 tanks just moving out. And the one thing that Buster will have going for him is he does manage to break through those tanks actually with some nice auto turrets. The one thing he has going for him is going to be these upgrades. He has his +2/+2 on the way, and Binsky actually forgot his +1 armor for his infantry, which is a massive upgrade to overlook. But here comes the backstab. Binsky recognizes that Buster's pushing. He's going to dive on top of 2 tanks, drops the other 3, and that 3rd base has to be lifted up, and it's going to be killed.
Command Center has to fly away. Lots of SCVs going down. 19 drop pretty much immediately. Marines getting on top of this 3rd base. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, lots of Marines going into tank fire, and it's not looking like it's going to be a very successful attack. He is going to siege up his tanks back here for now. But for now, Smoke Salmon, he's going to have to fall back. And Slime Master, he's come in here with all these Marines and tanks, sieging on the natural.
I think the tanks haven't been sieged fast enough. Keeps 2 of them unsieged to keep fighting, and this might just barely not be enough. Has to pick up, and is going to try and get on out. Actually, I love this cheeky little positioning. Trying to drop the tanks. He's going to end up losing them, though, to the Marines. But still, it's more damage. It's a larger worker lead for Binsky. And he has enough to defend at home. The scan timing is perfect. Manages to clear up one of the tanks. He's going to bring in 2 angles at once. Going to try and break out. And if he can, that might just be the game. All the tanks are going to go down.
Completely
and that was the only
the
thing that
floor.
Buster had.
Wow, great advantage now for Slime Master. He's going to come in here with all these tanks and Marines and these medevacs and continue to put pressure on Smoke Salmon. However, Slime Master is now sitting comfortably on a 4th base. Meanwhile, no 4th base to even think of now for Smoke Salmon. He does have his command center up in the main, so he may decide to float that down. But meanwhile, this giant force is coming into the natural. And look at that tank count, 7-1.
As Twitch chat has corrected us, and that we have been saying the names wrong the whole time. Slime Master is Buster.
I'm just going to start calling them
Binsky.
Slime Master and Smoke Salmon because that's what I see there on the screen.
As I said, I wish StarCraft 2 let us set nicknames because that would make it so much easier. We could just be like, set nickname for this player as this. But it is Buster who has indeed gotten a massive lead. And despite the best efforts of Binsky to here with a drop, trying to go into the natural, it doesn't do a lot. He loses more workers on his own end. He's going to lose even more bases. And, well, it's just a slow process to bleed out the Red Terran.
And now we got all these Marines coming into the third of Smoked Salmon, causing him to pull the SCVs again. And it looks like we may see a small sandwich here, or Slime Master may decide, nope, I'm just going to run past. I've done the damage I've needed to do. He's going to get out of there. Meanwhile, look at the bottom right. Sneaky command center in the bottom right. So,
I mean,
this is just going really well for the Blue Terran.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it even really sneaky when you're just so far ahead that you can hit that base without any worry in the world? Because that's kind of what's happening right now for Buster. Is he's going to be going ahead, dropping medevacs once again into the main base. It's a bit dangerous as there are Marines here to defend. But, you know, at this point, you can make whatever moves you want. I don't think it matters. I think Buster has, again, doubled the army supply of his opponent, almost doubling the worker supply. I don't think he cares if he loses units, because even if he does, he has more.
And one siege tank does go down pretty much for free there. Gets in there, takes it out. And now, looking over here on the left side, there is a double drop trying to find some damage here. He's going to drop Marines right on top of the tanks. So, nice little play, but there. Blue Terran is moving out, though, with this huge force. 195 to supply to 90. Completely insane here as far as tipping the favor in Slime Master's favor, which, of course, is Buster now that we know. Buster coming in, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be the end of the end here for Binsky in game number 1.
Yeah. I mean, it's devastating. You can see just taking advantage of the fact that his opening gave him access to earlier attack, just runs on in. It almost feels like a ZVT with how many Marines there are. It's like a Zerg, an infested Terran swarm just descending onto Binsky's base. And Binsky, well, he's coming in here. He might, I don't know, man, doesn't even cancel that +2 armor that's finishing up. He's going to instead go straight on to third base. But as I said, does Buster care? I don't think so.
SCVs are literally getting chased down and slaughtered here in the top left. So, right now, Buster's sitting on a massive lead, and to be honest, I'm really not sure why Binsky hasn't GG'd yet, to be honest. Maybe he doesn't know how far behind he is in this game. Currently 57 workers to 30 is insane worker.
GG timing.
Yes.
Is what this is. It's just trying to get in your opponent's head, making them fight to the bitter end, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Buster, just loads up everything and drops it right on top of the units. I'd love to see that move. He has enough that he could just do that.
It would be pretty much a YOLO move here at a Buster. Currently still sitting outside the natural expansion of Binsky. Binsky is going to float his command center down, but I honestly think it may be a too little too late at this point, because as soon as Buster gets wind of this, in fact, he's just going to dive in the natural and start firing at this command center. It goes down pretty much in a heartbeat, and now SCVs are getting murdered in the natural. GG! And Buster takes game number 1 here in this best of 5.
Yeah, that game was over far longer than it was actually shown. That was over from about probably 5 minutes or so before that, but Buster plays a very good game, takes advantage again of those early units, and yeah, that was just kind of brutal. That was just a slow and arduous process, but it was one that Binsky was losing every step of the way.
You should see the graph. Actually, I'm going to pull that up actually on screen so people can see this graph. But, I mean, you can't go any higher than he did in that graph. It literally hit the very top. And even after he lost some of those units, it went down only a tiny bit. You could see how far ahead, truly, Buster was in that game.
Yeah. So we're going to look for the second map pick here.
While I see if I can't get your camera going again.
Oh, my camera, no! We're just looking for the second map pick here. It was Slime Master, by the way, it was Binsky who picked 2,000 atmospheres. So it is actually going to be Buster who gets the second map pick of this series, which is pretty rough here for the player that lost to lose on your map pick. But we will see as we're going to be heading on to Blackburn for map number 2.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. All 15 of you are heroes tuning in tonight for the round of 4. And, of course, the finals after this. So please don't go anywhere. Stay here. There are plenty more StarCraft matches coming. In fact, we are about to jump into one.
What?
As we speak, we are loading into game number 2. Let's go.
Yes, on to Blackburn we go. And, well, we had a kind of a masterclass in that game 1, so we'll see if they can keep it up or if things are flipped onto their heads.
All right, so down here in the bottom left, it's our red Terran. And I'm pretty sure that he is Buster. So in the bottom left, it's Buster. I'm pretty sure I got that right. I'm sorry. It's Binsky. So we're still getting it wrong here. It's Binsky.
The hardest part is both their names also start with S.
Exactly.
It's Slime Master and Smoke Salmon. It's like, oh, can't you just make this any easier for us? What?
What? There's a Protoss.
Wait a second. Is that allowed?
Did he change his race? This is nuts. No. Pulling a Scarlet here in game number 2, switching to Protoss.
No, I can't change in the middle of the series, right?
I'm not sure yet. I haven't heard anything from Sugar saying that this is not allowed.
Sugar? Can we get the ruling on this, please?
But the funny thing is, Binsky doesn't know. He thinks he's playing a Terran. I mean, did he pay attention at the beginning? Did he see him change his race?
I don't have the ability. I don't have like the overlay to message. 1 second. I need to figure this out. I don't want this to go too far, and then people will be really mad. Wait 1 second.
Looks like there is a small bunker rush coming here. In the natural expansion. He sees the probe, so he knows that he's playing against Protoss. This is absolutely nuts.
I guess Buster, did just race swap?
Does Buster normally play Protoss, or did he?
No.
He's a Terran player. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So, being a little cheeky here with the race swap here, and opening with a very quick 2-gate double stalker build. So
I just got completely thrown off by this, but I haven't heard from Sugar that there's anything wrong here, even though it feels so off.
Down come the stalker. Actually decided it's going to wait for the second one. It's going to come down, ignore the eBay completely, and go for a beeline directly for Binsky's base. So this is just an outrageous game. We still have a third stalker coming, but it looks like it's just going to be rallied here to the main. There is a Reaper gets 3 probes. Meanwhile, we have a pylon up in the top left, where we're most likely going to see a Stargate. Nope, Proxy Robo.
Yeah, so I'm still in shock that the fact that you're just going with this. I'm still trying to recover, but this is we're heading into a TVP. I was not ready for this, but 2 stalkers across the map are getting a ton of damage done somehow. This is a game. Both players are 1 base, and SCVs are being pulled into stalkers who can kite forever. Not the best idea.
3 more SCVs go down, and I feel like Binsky's at a point where he needs to figure out what is going on in this game. He has no idea about this Proxy Robo up here in the top left, but he does have a bunker there, and he is getting a Cyclone, so you can't really, play more defensively than that, really. He does have the high ground CC, like we've been, talking all night long about that high ground CC. It's going to put him in an advantageous position here where he can drop his CC down as soon as the pressure is resolved. Warp Prism on the way.
This is a double Proxy Robo facility. This is so cheesy.
I don't think I've ever seen a double Proxy Robo. At least in the common meta. I watch a lot of GSL. I mean, you can ask anyone I talk to. I watch a ton of GSL and DreamHack, and I have not seen this. This is very interesting here at a Buster. Looks like he's going for an Immortal drop.
Yeah, this is gonna be proxy. I mean, this is like a Haas build.
Yes.
This is a build you see Haas do, and you just don't see it very often. But yeah, this is it. It's Stalkers being rallied across the map. It's two proxy immortals. I'm like still processing everything that's happening. You know.
Reaper
Like, my
comes
brain
in and
is-
sees it though. Sees the double robo. In fact, it also
Oh
got a view
my.
on that warp prism. If he was paying attention.
That's. Yeah, I mean, my brain is still.
Oh, he's gonna lose it. He lost the warp prism.
Oh.
It still had units in it. Oh my god. This game. My brain is melting as we cast this. Double immortals still being churned out here at these robos here at the top left. And it looks like because he lost the warp prism, he's just going to walk him down here. We will not be able to ferry into the main. So kind of slowing this down a little bit. But it looks like Binsky is getting tanks. So I feel like once he gets a few tanks up here on the high ground, this push basically just ends.
Sorry, I'm just gonna type that to the players. I don't know if they realized. They should know the rules that race swap is not allowed, but
So
they're
this
still
is
playing.
this is actually not allowed. Should we pause and wait for a ruling here?
I mean, I messaged Sugar. Sugar said no. So. Yeah.
Sorry guys, things are getting a little crazy tonight on the round of 4 for NA Apprentice. Looks like we're actually going to have to
Oh my
remake the
God.
lobby and go into it. Apparently race swapping is not allowed in the middle of a best of 5. Who knew? And we'll be back in just momentarily, guys.
I accidentally left the call. I'm back.
You have returned.
Oh my God, that was.
I don't even
I'm
know what
sorry,
to
I'm
say.
Still, whew, I am. I mean, respect to them for playing it out, but honestly, you should know that that's not allowed, and you should just stop the game.
Yeah, that was nuts.
That is a point where, as a player, you should just stop. You should know you're not allowed to race swap between games at least. You can probably do it between series, as long as you tell an admin, but not between games. as
I love how
Race
Binsky was
favor.
just like, doo-doo-doo, I'm just going to play the game out.
Yeah, he's like, oh, PvP? Okay, sure. I'll play that. Oh my. Yeah, so we just casted about a few minutes
Of a game that will never, ever be relived. In fact,
It's not gonna
It's
count
not allowed.
ever.
can't do it.
We wasted a lot of time.
It's not like we got anywhere else to be tonight. It's like there's a little bit of banter going on in chat.
Oh my. Okay. Buster's saying he doesn't want to waste time, so he's just gonna take the map loss. Can we?
What? Really?
Can I make a ruling on that? Am I allowed? Okay. You know what? We're gonna get admins in here.
We may actually have to jump into a quick break, guys, if you don't mind, just so we can get this
Yes.
sorted out. Please don't go anywhere. We'll find out what's going on here. We'll be right back.
My child, and embrace the glory that is your birthright. Know that I am the Overmind, the eternal will of the Swarm, and that you have been created to serve me. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the Serve the Hive. I control the way you move. How you like my groove, Dagoth? Well done. Serve the Hive. Feel the groove. I control the way you move.
The ruling has been made by Sugar. Since Buster was the one who made the mistake of trying to race swap in the middle of the series, and they played a majority of that game while we were waiting on a ruling, he said he was going to take the loss because he didn't want to waste a ton of time. They said the admin said if that was fine, then that's fine, and that's what we're going to go with. So that's what we're going to go with, actually. That means that Binsky is going to get the win in game number 2 by technicality, and we're essentially just heading into a best of 3. So a very long and arduous process short, it is now fixed.
So we're going to go ahead and jump into it, guys, without delay. Very weird situation that we were just put in, but we're going to go ahead and try to get back on track. Jumping into the game now. Please stay tuned.
As in the top left of Light Shade, he did not try to race swap in the middle of a series. So perhaps that is a win in and among itself. It's your Red Terran, going by the name Smoked Salmon. It's Binsky.
And in the bottom right, we see the correct race here chosen. It is the Blue Terran, currently teamless. It's Buster.
You know, after that, I just need to just take a step back, sip some water. And if I was sponsored by any energy drink, I would shout out that I would take a sip of that energy drink. And just enjoy the fact that we experienced that.
You guys saw it here. We had a player pretty much try to race swap in the middle of a series. So if you guys are just tuning in, he chose Protoss, and we pretty much had to say, nope, can't do that. So deciding to take the loss there, very interesting. So once again, we're back in a TVT.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that he had chosen Protoss. I just went into the game. I was like, all right, let's go, TVT.
Yeah, I went to introduce him, and I was like, who's this? Did someone else join? Nope, he's race swapped in the middle of the series. Yeah. So definitely some entertainment tonight as far as just buffoonery going on in this best of 5. These guys are they're sparing no expense.
They're having a grand old time. They're having some fun. They want to make sure that we all enjoy ourselves, and that's absolutely what's happening. As we do actually have the same openings as we saw in game 1, so you are seeing Buster here go for the double gas. This means that, again, he's going to have a few more early units, and Binsky opting for that earlier CC. Can this time Binsky stop the damage from coming through as much as he did in the last game? You have to hope so, because that game 1 was pretty much all decided by Buster's just early aggression.
And yeah, and it looks like we're going to get a fast CC here. I'm sorry, factory. His factory is going to be a little bit faster. So we will see maybe some quick Hellions here out of Psymaster, which is Buster, if I remember correctly. I'm still thinking I'm not getting this right. But over on the other side, our Red Terran, he's got his command center already down on the natural. Bunker on the way. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to defend anything that comes his way for the moment. Hellions are actually coming out here for the Blue Terran. Starport about halfway complete.
Yep. Just working on the 3 Reapers as we do see the 3rd one coming out, and there should be 2 Hellions joining them very, very shortly. And this time they're going to head across the map. In the last game, Buster did keep them back, but he's going to see what pressure he can apply, and it should be a good amount. There is only 1 Marine right now in that bunker. The other 2 are sitting at the top of the ramp. So we'll be able to at least snipe probably a SCV at the very least, but also has this time the Liberator on the way. So a bit of a mix-up. It's a proxy starport with a Liberator. No Banshees to be heard of, but honestly, I wouldn't even mind the Banshees again, because those got a ton of damage done in game 1.
Yeah, and we have these proxy Liberators that are coming up. Meanwhile, over here on the red side of the map, he's got a bunker in his natural, not really much in his main to speak of, so if these Liberators make a beeline here for Smoked Salmon's base, or I'll just call him the Red Terran, we may see quite a few SCVs go down. 2 Hellions do come out. They will get some map vision here on the map. They missed that 1 Red Hellion, though. Red Hellion is coming into the natural. It's probably going to stop this CC. SCV is going to go down.
It's a slight delay there, but I do really like this. Adding on a 3rd Hellion here for Buster, gonna be also adding in a 4th. It allows him to dive in a lot more convincingly onto this natural base mineral line. Immediately gonna snipe down 1 Mule and a few SCVs. Here comes the Liberator as well. It's a 2-pronged attack, taking advantage of that there's not that many units. And oh, look at that, 8, 9 SCVs go down. And just Concise and quick is what that attack was.
This is so crazy. We still have proxy liberators on the way. So Raven on the way for Buster, right? Binsky. I'm just going to start calling him the Red Terran. He's going to lift off, the Blue Terran's going to lift off his starport, and he's going to bring that back. Still being very active on the map with his Hellions and Reapers. Going to come up here along the left side, but that bunker is full now, and there are a couple Marines there to guard. So not going to be able to get in and do much damage now. Nicely held by the Red Terran.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just looking at the losses there, 9 SCVs, a Reaper and a Hellion go down, and only one, a Hellion and a Liberator for 9 SCVs. You take that every day of the week if you're Buster. It's so worthwhile. You've evened out that worker count that you were initially behind in because of the fast CC opening from Binsky. And you also still have this Liberator that can poke around and come back in when your opponent doesn't expect it. I just like Buster's opening better. He's doing a very, very good job of getting damage done with the earlier tech that second gas allows. And it feels like every time it's catching Binsky off guard.
Yeah, Stim now started for Smoked Salmon. Tanks are the tech of choice here. It does look like Smoked Salmon's going to get some Vikings out here. He will have air superiority here in this next confrontation. We all know that Vikings are very important in the tank versus tank battles. They give you vision. The more Vikings you have, you can control the air, thus taking it an advantageous fight. So at the moment, I'm really liking Smoked Salmon's choice to go double Vikings here and getting his stem quicker than his opponent. Neither opponent deciding to go for a third just yet. Is there a command center? Yes, there is a third command center coming up for the Blue Terran and also for Smoked Salmon on the other side.
Yep. So it looks like we're going to be going into a pretty standard macro game from here on out. And as you said, that early stem is nice for Binsky. It's going to allow him a lot more leverage to push with these tanks that he's getting out earlier than his opponent, which is what he tried to do in game number 1, but it did not have that stim. And it just meant that when his Cyclones got caught out, he had no real ability to keep that push going. And we'll see, because you see Buster here is going to be starting up his own stim, has an NG Bay on the way, which of course will be used for that +1, and then is also focusing on the Medivacs. And one interesting thing about TVT that people don't realize is if you're trying to be more aggressive and get the game, and kind of win the game faster, it's actually Medivacs that you want to get instead of Vikings. The Vikings are meant for long, drawn-out trades where you slowly win through air dominance, and that's what Binsky is going for here with this push. He's got tanks, got 3 of them. He's got his 4 Vikings and a Raven. This is a really strong push.
Yeah, he's coming into the natural. Will Psymaster be ready? He is currently not sieged up. In fact, he's moving his army south to his third, not aware that Salmon's coming up here. He's sieging up his tanks, and he's about to strike the natural. Heavily out of position. He's going to start sieging up onto the starport, and it's already almost halfway dead now. And I don't think he has another starport, so if this starport goes down, no more Medivacs out of Slymaster.
That's really rough. This anti-timing is so, hard for Buster to do anything. You see there the interference matrix onto one of the tanks. It's going to quickly get focused down. And he's just going across the map. Just takes one of his tanks, says, all right, I don't want to fight this. I have one tank back at home. That should be able to defend decently well. I have more in production. I'm just going to, sit pretty. And now we see another interference matrix going down. The tank isn't sieged in range, though, so that one will survive until the Vikings are landed. But here we go, drop into the main, and we have a base race in game number 3.
Tons of Marines getting dropped, instantly destroying that tank. Vikings are to come up here and start striking at the Medivacs. Going to force him to kind of back up a little bit. He loses a lot of Marines there.
Yeah.
Was the damage worth it, though?
No. Not much of a base race.
No, the answer is no, it wasn't.
That was not much of a base race. That, in fact, was Binsky just finding the better timing and completely catching Buster off guard and had enough to defend back at home. Yeah, that...
Well, what will map 3 be? Hey, oh, sorry, map 4.
Technically map 4. It will be Buster's pick. We'll see what he's going to choose for the next map. But yeah, that was just a unlucky move out. Great timing from Binsky. And I need to tell him what map is left. This This is why you do map picks before. Let's see. So the vetoes were Beckett and Blackburn.
And I think
Or
we had
no,
Oxide
Beckett
already.
and Oxide.
Oxide,
Beckett
yeah.
and Oxide were vetoed. And then the picks were Lightshade, Jagger, Romanticide. That's correct. Look at that. Binsky on top of it. He knows what's going on. He's not making us do the hard work.
Nope. He's letting us cast the games, so great on him.
Absolutely. We stand a player who knows the map picks.
And so Buster is Smoked Salmon and Binksy is Slime Master. Or am I still getting that wrong?
You're still getting it
Oh my god, I need to write that down.
Binsky is red. Buster is blue.
Gotcha.
That has not changed. That's been the same all,
Binsky
for
is
all
red,
the games.
Buster is blue.
Yes.
And we are hopping into game number 4. Let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. And why don't you go ahead and introduce the first player once we get in. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is the we will be into the semifinals here. We'll find out who is going to be going up against our other player who made it through. And why don't you go ahead and introduce our Red Terran up here in the top right while I get these scores set up.
I was going to say, you did half my job there. Right there is in the top right of Jaganatha. It's going to be your Red Terran, Binsky.
And down here, our Blue Terran, he needs to bring this back. I mean, he's currently down 2-0 in this best of 5, so it's currently match point. It's Buster.
He won game 1. It's 2-1.
Oh, I'm sorry
because he
about
had
that.
the forfeit loss. It's all good.
Oh, yep, completely forgot about the forfeit. It's already been erased from my mind.
I know. we already have put that away, and we're forgetting about it, the Protoss game. Because
We refuse to acknowledge it. In fact, I'm going to delete it from the VOD. No, I'm just kidding.
we go and no traces can be found. Even the match history doesn't show it. But yeah, surprisingly enough, this game we actually do have Buster going for the gas after the barracks, so it's going to be a 1 gas opening from him as well, following suit with what his opponent has been doing in all 3 of their games. So I'm going to be interested to see how he maneuvers the single gas opening, because the real big difference that we've seen between them, and it's nice having both players going for, you know, one and the other, just because you get to see that difference, is of course the timings on the early units. With the single gas, you get the Reaper out, it's immediately into your Marines, and then you don't even really go for a Hellion off the factory. It's straight into a Cyclone, into tanks, and then you get that second and your third gas and into your Ravens. It's a lot more defensive. It doesn't give you as much ability to really force damage onto your opponent. But if you're both going for it, it does really kind of prepare you for a long macro game.
So there was a little bit of cheeky play with the SCVs, and it looks like Buster got down his command center just a little bit. I want to say it came down just a little bit earlier. I'm sorry, later. Because there was a sneaky SCV in there. There is a factory up for both players currently. They are pretty much neck and neck currently with their builds. Both of them are going Marine, so pretty much standard play so far out of both players. You know, not much divergence yet in either of the builds. That will be happening here momentarily. We will see what the tech of choice here. Reaper does come in, starts firing at this SCV though. Marine does come down, starts firing at the Reaper, but SCV still building that command center. I'm pretty sure. There it is, coming down. It's going to continue. So nice play there.
Yeah, a bit of miss micro.
Yeah.
Trying to go up the ramp when it really could have just sat back down. Is going to lose the Reaper and the worker for it in the end. It's a bit of a better trade for Binsky, who does get a second worker across the way as well. But both players just heading into pretty much as standard of a build as you get in this position. Hellion going down with additional Reapers on the way from Buster, and both players working on their starports. So it's essentially mirror builds aside from the unit choices.
Reaper does get in here.
Ooh.
Sees the timing on the starport, starts firing on the SCVs. Nothing gone down just yet.
No.
Oh, now as I say that, 2 SCVs go down. So
that shouldn't happen. That should not happen. That's already 4 SCVs going down, and I don't say that in a way that's mean like Buster. You know, like that was incredibly. It was good micro from Binsky, but Buster just kind of dropped the ball there, losing 2 SCVs to 1 Reaper. Again, it's just in a mirror matchup, as it's been explained before by many casters better than I. TVT is like having a knife fight in a phone booth. It is just the smallest of mistakes can mean that you end up losing, and just getting those little advantages for Binsky is absolutely massive because he's going to have more workers. That means that he's going to just have a little bit more money to work with than his opponent, and it makes a really big difference, especially this early in the game when you're only sitting at about 25, 23 workers when that kill happened.
Yeah, we just saw there a Hellion went down pretty much for free. And now we have a Cyclone versus Cyclone war out of both these players. Both players going tanks. No tanks on the map just yet. So both are currently building their first tanks. Raven, the choice for both of them as far as how they're going to deal with the skies right now. Most likely we're just going to see, interference matrices on the tanks. Mm-hmm. Besides that, I am kind of digging Binsky's position in this game so far, considering Buster's already lost a couple SCVs. Both are kind of neck and neck, though, at this point. 39 now SCVs to 36, and 21 Army Supply to 16.
Yeah, it really is fairly even, but you're just seeing, again, those little advantages here for Binsky as this game continues on. Buster is going to have that advantage on the stim timing, and that is just, I think, because their builds are, again, essentially mirrors of each other. I think that is just Binsky here. Raven timing. That's what it was. I was wondering why it was slower. It's because he went for the second Raven. So, he's going to have that stronger pushing power with 2 Ravens. It just means that you can shut down the tanks so much easier. You don't have to worry about, pushing or about not being able to push aggressively, because you can just shut down the defensive position of your opponent, especially when your opponent only has 1 Raven of their own. And for Buster, he's going to be prioritizing the upgrades. Double NG Bay on the way, but that needs some time. So if Binsky comes in once again with a really strong push, it might look really rough here for Buster.
And Binsky, he is going double Viking right now. So with those 2 Ravens and continuing to build up the Vikings here, currently it looks like we only have 1 Viking on the field. So eventually, though, it's going to get him into a position where he's going to have an extreme confidence in the skies as far as his army goes. Not really liking Buster's position right now. He is deciding to go to Medivacs. So Medivac, we all know who wins in that fight, Medivacs versus Vikings. So Stim pack, though, really about the only positive really coming here at a Buster. His stim almost 90% complete, while Binsky's is only about 60%.
Yep. And that's what he's really going to be trying to take advantage of, is both players floating out their third bases at the same time. That Viking advantage, it worries me so much. 4 Vikings in the sky, it just means that there's no way for Buster to really get rid of the Ravens. And 2 Ravens versus 1, it doesn't seem like a big deal at first, but then you remember how much energy is on those Ravens. Well, if you look at the first one, 161 energy and 162. Each of them have 2 interference matrices. That's 4 tanks that can be eliminated from the fight, and that's just so big to be able to get those away. But there is a larger Marine count here for Buster, but there you go. First interference matrix is down, first tank is killed.
Almost immediately there, and you can definitely see the position he's in. Currently up in the tank count, 5 tanks to 2. So Binsky definitely putting the pressure here onto Buster. Another tank is going to get an interference matrix. Goes down. So I'm pretty sure that was all the tanks. No, he still has 1 more tank. Where is it? It's underneath those medevacs there. So 1 tank is not really going to be enough here. Vikings pretty much come in here with authority and take down all the medevacs.
Yeah, this is just such a rough position. You see the auto turrets are just going to go down, and this is, again, the advantage of having a lot more Ravens. As the auto turrets and the Raven cleaned up on the side of Buster, Marine's going to go on in. They're going to snipe the tank. It's 4 tanks versus none. And again, Binsky finds the timing. Buster, he's going to lose the CC. There's no SCVs to repair it. And that is massive.
That is complete devastation for Buster. I honestly think the game may be over at this point. Binsky is going to back up, though. He has a third here mining. Currently sitting on a very healthy worker and army lead here. 3 medevac drop decides that it wasn't going to go and head out and drop onto Binsky. Buster's going to load everything over here. And it looks like he's going to try to fight here in the middle. Only has 1 tank, though. And it goes down.
Yeah, you see Buster, the reason why he backed up was because the scan came down and actually saw that his army was in his base. So he knew that either Binsky was going to be pushing, or he was just going to play safe. As here comes the 360 surround. It might not be enough. There's so many tanks. The Vikings are going to land. Everything is going to get cleaned up. GG. Binsky going to get the 3-1 victory. And maybe Buster regarding the fact that they didn't replay game 2 a little bit, but that was the call that he made.
So we actually have our finals now. It's going to be Binsky against Reaper, I believe, right?
Yep.
Binsky versus Reaper here in the finals. Let's go ahead and hop it back over here to us. Any final words about that series? That series was just crazy from the beginning.
It really was. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It was crazy. We saw everything. We saw the race swap that was not allowed, and then we had to tell them that it wasn't allowed, and all sorts of things in between. It was entertaining, to say the least. But yeah, we will be... I mean, closing it out, I believe that is going to be GG's.
Yep. And now we're setting up for our finals.
Yeah, and it does feel bad for Buster, of course.
Yeah,
again,
definitely.
Taking that call. But it's that, I mean, that happens sometimes when you make a call like that.
Yep.
And so he has to deal with that, and it's Binsky moving on. And honestly, in those last 2 games, Binsky did look better. I think the timings finally were coming through for him, and it just looked a whole lot cleaner. And so I really, I really got to say that Binsky, I really loved the builds in those last 2 games. It just looked so clean.
Yes, excellent play out of Binsky. So we have our final guys, Binsky versus Reaper. We're just going to take a quick break so that we can hydrate and get our players ready for the finals. Don't go anywhere.
My child, and embrace the glory that is your birthright. Know that I am the Overmind, the eternal will of the Swarm, and that you have been created to serve me. The Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the way you move. How you like my groove, Dagoff? Well done. Serve the Hive. Feel the groove. I control the way you move. Awaken, my child, and embrace the glory that is your birthright. Know that I am the Overmind, the eternal will of the Swarm, and that you have been created to serve me. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the groove. Serve the Hive. I control the way you move. How you like my groove, Dagoth? Well done. Serve the Hive. Feel the groove. I control the way you move. I got the skills. Serve the Hive. Feel the groove. I control the way you move. Overmind has got the skills. Awaken, my child, and embrace the glory that is your birthright.
Hey guys, we are back. We are getting it ready for the finals, so please don't go anywhere. It's going to be Binksy versus Reaper. And it looks like, I think they already decided the map choices, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is going to be Jaganatha and Blackburn band away. Lightshade is the first pick for Binsky. It's going to be Romanticide second, and then I think they are going from there based on how those games go. But yeah, I'm excited for this. Binsky looked really good in his last two games against Buster. Of course, the first one did end up losing, and then we had the forfeit because of some crazy circumstances. But I'm super excited for it. It's going to be exciting. And of course, we did see Reaper with his crazy style of Zerg here in the last game, or in the last series, almost get taken down, but then also just barely managed to bring it back. So we'll see how he does up against Binsky, who was probably watching that and maybe has some plans for how to approach it.
I think we're all ready to go, so let's go ahead and hop in and get this started. Grand Finals of Code A, guys. Get hype. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. It looks like we are starting up.
Nah, I messed up, so we're going to have to restart that.
No worries.
Yeah.
We are all human and we make mistakes. It's no big deal. I mean, I still can't get your camera to come up.
That's unfortunate.
I go into the source, I scroll down, I look for your pop-up. It is not even listed.
Yeah. Luckily, I was smart, and I left before the countdown started. He's on big brain. But yeah, so yeah, we got that sorted. We don't have to remake because I'm so quick on the draw with canceling the start timer. But yeah, let's get into Light Shade. It's going to be exciting. I want to see what Binsky brings in a TVZ. That is the one matchup that he hasn't played so far through the round of 8 and the round of 4. So, it really could be anything.
And the first map is going to be Light Shade. So if you're just tuning in, this is the Code A Grand Finals. And we're going to go ahead and jump into game number 1. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, get excited, get loud, get proud. It's a best of 5 to decide who's going to take away first place for the NA Apprentice Code A Finals. And in the top left, it is your Red Terran taking that 3-1 victory in his last match. It's Binsky.
And in the bottom right, it's our cheeky blue Zerg player playing for Domaticus Gaming. It's Reaper.
He's already got a cheeky little drone going out. And we got a proxy hatchery in game number 1. What other way would we like it?
So already in this grand finals, we're seeing mind games here at a Reaper, deciding to drop that hatchery in the natural expansion of Binsky. Binsky, though, I don't think he's even been out front yet to even see this. No, he does not have vision of this. So at the moment, he's just doing Terran things.
Just doing Terran things. Gonna say, all right, I'm gonna scout out my Reaper. No need to send an SCV across because you don't really need to unless there's some early cheese. But issue is, the Reaper is not going to come out before this hatchery is done, and that does mean that with 2 gas on the way, it's going to be roaches delivered directly to the front door. DoorDash premium delivery coming through from Reaper, as finally that SCV does go out and is going to see, wait a second, that's not supposed to be there.
Hatchery about 75% complete here for Reaper in game number 1. Binsky is throwing down a bunker here directly next to this hatchery, so how many Marines does he have right now? He doesn't have a single Marine yet. Single Marine about to finish here for Binsky. And if he's smart in this, he'll immediately send the Marine down and put him in the bunker. Meanwhile, here comes 3 more drones coming in. I guess he needs to mine a little bit, or he's probably going to be sneaky.
Crawlers.
Yeah, with the spines.
I thought it was going to be roaches, but I think Reaper actually bailed out of that. He canceled the 2 gases. Realized that with the scout and the bunker, it wasn't gonna have time to get up, so he's instead going into a spine crawler rush. But the Marines, they're just going forward. There's nothing to protect here. There are no lings that have been produced, so the spine crawlers can just get focused down. And I think this was a bit of a misplay here by Reaper, because this is absolutely horrible to lose all of these so early.
Pretty much all the spines going down. SCVs are pulled. There are some lings on the way, but at this point, there is a bunker there that can be used for defense, and it looks like this hatchery is going to go down along with the queen that was built. And the lings are kind of useless here at this point.
Yeah, no, this is so well held by Reaper. Another spine's going to go down, but by the time that they finish, the queen's not there to spread creep. The hatchery's going to go down. And even with this amount of lings, it's not really enough to push this bunker. You see that just immediately. 1 ling goes down. When the queen pops out, it might just be enough to help, stop this from going down. But already behind this, you have the factory done. It is building a Hellion. No tank is going to be coming out, although I think that would probably be the best answer for this. But still, such a good response from Binsky.
Yeah, even now that he has the Hellions, it's just almost like a perfect checkmate. Hellions are going to do really great against these Zerglings, and it looks like this hatchery may go down before that queen is finished. Spines are coming in. A little aggressive with the spine rush, though, going right on top of the bunkers. Lots of lings come in here, but the wall is raised. And now we're looking at quite a bit of damage being done here by Reaper.
Yeah, I like the focus fire onto one of the spine crawlers, but I think it would have been better to get rid of the lings. But here we go. The spine crawler is now going to be able to assault the front. Tank is finally on the way. As I said, I think I would have liked to see it sooner to help push back those spine crawlers. But it will be able to slowly start to pick away. Siege down the spines, and then the Marines in the bunker as well. Also going to be able to focus onto this Overlord, which really precariously positioned. Luckily, the Viking is focused down, and Reaper is going to have to reposition these spines. I don't know if he can be this aggressive. As I said, the bunker is there. The wall is down. Link's trying to get on in. SCVs are going to have to be pulled. They're going to have to fight. as the tank is still being allowed to shell away for free. A lot of SCVs are going down, but it doesn't matter because, again, this is all in from the Zerg. It is still one base, and all the Zerglings are down. The bunker may fall, but it doesn't even matter. The repair comes through. Binsky, a beautiful hold.
Binsky's sitting good now. He's got one siege tank up on the high ground. He's got SCVs to repair his bunker, and he's got the Hellion to fire at this hatchery. It's looking really good here for Binsky. Reaper deciding, though, to take his natural expansion. Doesn't look like he's followed up with any more tech at the moment, so he's still going Zerglings. One Queen here is going to try to come in and for the defense, but just a little bit too little, too late. It is going to get chewed away with this Marine and this Hellion here. And just momentarily here, this hatch is going to drop.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Lings here might be able to clean up this smaller group of Marines, but even then, it's a small consolation prize for what has been a failed rush. And you see Reaper is putting down, you know, a hatchery behind this, but I mean, at this point, you're down 7 workers. You're down 7 workers as Zerg, and you're building a spore crawler and a hatchery. There's no economy for Reaper to work with. Meanwhile, you have continued Hellion production, you have a tank out, medevac coming on the way, and as soon as this pushes across the map, I really don't see there being anything for Reaper to hold.
Down goes the hatchery and the natural expansion, and now suddenly we're in a position now where Binsky is pulling quite a far ahead. He's currently sitting at 23 workers to 15 in his favor. He does have medevacs out now, so that's great. Considering, do we even have Zergling speed yet? Zergling speed hasn't even been started yet. So really good on Binsky here. There is some creep. It's going to be a little annoying and prevent Binsky from getting his command center down there. But momentarily that creep should subside. 3 Hellions, though, going into the natural. There is a nice wall there with a Spore and a Queen. Very interesting play there at a Reaper. So, yeah, that Hellion, those Hellions aren't getting in to do any damage. Stim about 75% complete.
Yeah, I mean, again, Binsky was just so smart. Didn't even start the CC when he knew that it was a rush. Has Stim on the way. He's going to have Hellions working on the armory. And, well, this is one of the times where a Hellbat rush does actually do a good amount of damage because what is there to really defend? You have a Reaper. You have Reaper, sorry. You have a Reaper. No, you have Reaper with 14 army supply. That's all in Zerglings, which, again, Zerglings, Hellbats. I think we know who wins that. Even in really large numbers, Hellbats still just absolutely chew through. And here we go. Reaper just going to lose so many drones as the Hellions get on into the main. Already 6 going down. More are going to be focus fire. 10 more Hellions trying to come to join, but they should be eliminated, but still.
And
12,
this is
13,
a massacre.
No, that's game over. Losing that many drones when you're already so far behind from the rush, I don't think there's a way to come back from that.
And now we have slow Zerglings trying to find their way back, but damage has already been done. 15 drones have gone down. And at this point, we may be checkmate here in game number 1 of this best of 5. A single Hellbat over here, getting healed up by the medevac. Overlord's going to spot it, though. Meanwhile, on the other side, Binsky's going to come out here and start taking out the creep and these larvae. There is one lone queen there to defend. It gets taken out. Combat shield's about 90% done. Well, about 80, more like 80% done. Hellion's still coming out there 2 at a time, so at this moment, it's looking really good for Binsky. He's even going to take this medevac and boost right into the main.
Is it 2016? Because that's a Hellbat drop that's going straight on into the main. Or they're going to drop down. And, well, Queens can shove that back, so the pickup comes through. But still, I mean, look at the work count. It's 32 to 17. Like, just getting this delayed mining is so worthwhile for Binsky, who's already doubled the supply of his opponent. At this point of the game, doubling your opponent's supply, I mean, it's 35 to 62. This push is going to come across the map. It's going to be a whole lot of Hellions. They're going to be Hellbats. It's going to be Stim Marines. Again, it's just going to be a very slow and painful death here for Reaper, even though he's trying to hold on. You know, he's trying to hope that delaying the CC for as long as he did will be able to keep him into this game, but I just do not see it happening.
So 6 Hellions do rush up into the natural. They are body blocked by the Queens. They can't get into the main. A couple of them get taken down, but at this point, is there anything left to kill, really, for the Zerg? 4 Hellions are going to get out of there, though. Doesn't lose a single Hellion, so good on Binsky there. He does got his command center down on the natural now, so he is mining from that. He has a nice little Marine force here to guard it, so at the moment, Zergling speed is just started, so that tells you everything you need to know about the status of this game.
Yeah. I really feel like, I mean, Binsky here. Just get 2 medevacs, go across the map, man. That's really what needs to happen to end off this game, because Reaper right now is in dire straits, trying to get a 3rd base off 31 workers. And again, there is no army to speak of. It is 12 army supply for our Zerg. And, I mean, the thing is, if Binsky waits too long, is there a chance that Reaper can get back into this game? Maybe. It's split. The Baneling Nest is coming down. There's more gases being added on. The way you don't get into this game is Spire. There's not enough money to work with for Reaper to go Spire. It would have to be Roaches.
And it looks like he's actually got a Baneling Nest here, about 75% complete. So will we see a quick, almost like 2-base Baneling bust here to try to get him back in the game? Or maybe he'll do like he did before with the burrowed Banelings. I don't see Burrow on the way, though. He is deciding to just go with his current Baneling composition. There is a bunch of Hellions, though, and Marines and a tank moving out. Plenty of Queens there are going to shoo them away for at least for now, but I think if he continues to push up in there, this may actually just be GG, and he's moving into the natural with these Marines and this Hellbat. Queens are only there for the defense, and it only looks like he's morphing in his Banelings right now.
GG. Binsky takes a very convincing game 1. I mean, almost a perfect hold there against the Cheese, and if you're Reaper looking at that, you can't be that aggressive. He opened up that way. He was saying, all right, I'm going to stress test you. I'm gonna see if I can go for the super aggressive build and catch you off guard. And Binsky said, actually, no, I know how to hold this. You're not gonna get any damage done, and just really brutal.
I really hope that we don't see a 3-0. I really hope that this is a super competitive finals.
Yeah.
But it really is up to the players how they want to play here. Second map will be Romanticide.
Yeah, and we're gonna head right into it. The players are ready. They don't want to wait. So let's get into game number 2. And will we see? I mean, here's the thing. I'm gonna call it right now. Call me psychic, but 2-base Mutalisk.
Are we going to see a 2-base Mutalisk? That would be interesting.
I think we are.
You feeling 2-base Mutalisk? Reaper is definitely the type of player that does not shy away from taking risks.
Absolutely not. But here in the bottom right is a player who has been playing perfectly safe in the last 3 games that we've seen of him on stream, and has worked entirely to his advantage. It's your Red Terran, going by Smoked Salmon. It's Binsky.
And in the top left, we have our blue Zerg player. He's definitely not afraid of taking risks, like we said. Will he be able to claw his way back into this series? It's Reaper.
So the only reason why I say that this is going to be 2-base Spire from Reaper is because I've started to notice that Reaper has a very particular pattern with the builds that he goes for on certain maps. And Romanticide is absolutely a map where he's done it before, and I would not be surprised if he goes for 2-base Mutalisk again. Because it's a map that has a lot of dead space. It's an opening that even if you don't get a ton of damage, he's comfortable with that transition out. And if Binsky watched the streams and also recognizes that, he might be able to punish it. But I would not be surprised if this just goes into a longer macro game.
So at the moment, it looks like we're just going to see what looks like a 16 hatch into a pool. I believe I got that right. I wasn't really over there to see when he dropped that pool, but it doesn't look like anything too aggressive here at a Reaper. There is a Reaper on the way on the other side for Binsky, so Binsky will be able to get over there and scout and see the timing on the hatch. Meanwhile, it looks like a command center is about to drop here on the natural for Binsky.
You know, I might have to sign a petition for whenever we're casting Reaper, that instead of calling the unit Reapers, we call them 2-pistol fly shooty boys.
So you guys heard it here first. 2-pistol fly shooty boys are now what we are calling Reapers.
Yep. Just to avoid confusion, you know, I feel like that will clear up the air and make sure that everyone's on the same page between the player Reaper and the unit Reaper.
Yeah, we don't want to confuse anybody here, especially with the names that we've already done.
Yeah.
And we've already had a very confusing race swap in the middle of a best of 5, so no shortage of confusion on today's stream. Reaper is going to get in here. But shoot away from the Zerglings, though.
And it's that small dance that you see between the Reaper and the Zerglings, where Really, if you can get a Zergling kill, that's pretty nice. It's not going to make too much of a difference. The Zerg is just trying to stop you from diving on top of their drones. And looks like so far, Reaper, completely standard opening, but there we go. Early layer, additional gas going down, and you could say I called it, because this is going to be a 2-base Mutalisk play out of Reaper.
So Mutalisk is the tech of choice here at a Reaper. What is Binsky going to use here? It looks like he just threw down his starport. He hasn't scouted. He does have a Reaper sitting here in the third. He may jump in there and then see the timing on the Spire. Couple of Zerglings there. Does not stop the Reaper, so he does go around the side. Does see the timing on the lair. No Spire on the field just yet.
Yeah.
And
my
is he
God,
gonna lose
the
that Reaper?
gets
Nope.
Out.
Reaper
Oh,
gets
it's
out.
at 1 health. That's so annoying. But yeah, Binsky scouts the timing on the lair.
Yep.
Doesn't see what the tech is, because of course
Right.
there is going to be no Spire down just yet, but that's
Until that
already a
layer's
big
down.
giveaway. Yeah.
So
It's already a massive giveaway.
let's see if I can remember how this game works. Lair is complete now, so we will see the tech of choice out of Reaper. Will we see that 2-base Mutalisk play? Spire goes down in the natural. There is no Reaper to speak of now. It kind of backed away for now. I don't see him. Where's that Reaper? It looks like he joined up with the Hellions back in the middle of the map. So he will not be able to scout this. More Zerglings on the way. He does have Vikings, though, in production. Not going to be too helpful when you're versing a clump of Mutalisks with only 1 Viking. Things are not looking good so far for Binsky.
No, I mean, there's going to be no way for him to punish this play, but right now the plan is, hey, I just need to survive. And you see clearing up Overlord Vision is already a good start, getting the Zerg supply blocked. That's just extra minerals that Reaper has to spend that aren't going to go into those Mutalisks. And then as well, Reapers and the Reaper and the Hellions, pushing out, just going to try and get drone kills. Again, the name of the game for Binsky is you need to survive the 2-base Spire. You need to get up a 3rd base of your own, get into a strong macro game, and you should be able to kind of grow the Zerg as time goes on, and he might be able to sneak up here into the main. The Zerg surround is nice, but these Hellions, they just do too much damage. And those Zerglings, they don't have enough DPS.
Tons of Zerglings going down. Almost all of them. And now we have 8 Mutas being built. Hellions do come around into the main, and it looks like the Queen is going to finally clean that up. Meanwhile, on the other side, Binsky is about halfway done with the stem, and he does got 1-1 on the way, and he is building turrets. So he may actually be able to defend this. He definitely needs to put down a turret in his natural as soon as he gets the chance. Meanwhile, Baneling Nest being dropped for Reaper, along with his +1 air weapons.
Yep. It's kind of the transition that we've seen from him every game out of this. He's going to that Lingbane on 3 bases, but you already see Binsky, 3rd base of his own, getting up a defensive bunker as well. And this is a move that I really love when Terran players do. Is walling off this gas with a bunker, because as Terran, you don't actually need this gas. You have plenty of gas just off 2 bases. I think you don't even need to get the gases on your 3rd base, so you can just make that bunker wall. It stops Ling and Bane run-bys from being as effective. And it just means that Binsky is going to be completely safe here as he looks to get into his 1-1 upgrades and the rest of his production facilities. With that being said, you do need to bring your Marines around here sometimes so that your upgrades aren't sniped off.
It looks like mines are what Binsky's going to use to defend these Mutalisks. We have definitely seen the mines used previously. They are really good against the Mutalisks. You weaken them up really good with the mines, and then you come in and sweep them up with Marines or maybe a couple Vikings. Looks like we have a couple more Mutalisks still on the way. +1 infantry weapons and armor about to complete here, along with, it looks like our combat shields are about halfway done. So looks like we're just going to get more Marines and mines here at Binsky.
Yep. It is, again, survive the 2-base Mutalisk, and that has been done. Already you have Reaper working on his transition, 4th base going down. Still not in the most solid position. Only 10 workers ahead. His upgrades are going to be behind that of the Terrans. And again, we'll see if Binsky here kind of does the things that were my problems with how we saw Disrespect handle this 2-base Mutalisk play, which is with the proactivity after you have been able to thoroughly shove back the Mutalisks, which is reaching that point now. Reaper is not going to be able to really poke in with these Mutalisks anymore, because now you have Widow Mines out. Now you have just enough Marines that you can't even do damage, or that you can't even really fight them separately. And I would love to see Binsky start to load up some drops now.
Looks like the mine's got a decent hit there. He is going to get shoot away with the Mutalisk. The Marines are going to come down. They're going to leave. We do have a 4th base here at a Reaper, so he already has his drones there. He's ready to mine. Baneling speed about 75% complete. So we are going to see Ling Bane Muta, a very classic composition here at a Reaper. Meanwhile, it looks like +2 infantry weapons and +2 infantry armor is on the way. So quite right now, as far as at least the ground army, we do see an upgrade lead. Of course, Reaper does have his +1 air weapons, but has he started +2? Yes, he is about 50% complete. So upgrades are, you know, they're pretty neck and neck at the moment. Meanwhile, Binsky's moving out on the map with all these Marines and this one mine and quite a few medevacs. And it looks like the Mutalisk tried to get on top of the army, but there's just too many Marines.
Yeah. Again, this is the 1-1 push. This is the really dangerous part for the Zerg.
46.
Can you hold off this push? The Banelings are open, but here comes another wave of them. The pullback is not quite fast enough. The speed Banelings so quick, but the mine hit is so good.
So juicy. Mine pretty much explodes on some Bane and some Lings. Incredible hit there at Abinsky, but now he's on the run. Muta and Lings are chasing him down. He does pull back here to his main army. He sets a couple mines there up into the ramp, and it should allow him to defend here. Don't want to overextend, though, as Reaper. Don't want to take another huge mine hit. And so far, decent defense here at Abinsky.
Yeah, that was not an efficient trade there towards the end. It's been fairly good for the Zergs thus far. I mean, you saw the speed Banelings able to just collapse onto the bio so quickly. But now you see, Binsky, he realizes, listen, your pressure is broken. I'm able to go out on the map. You know that. I know that. He's loading up drops. Even with the threat of the Mutalisks, he knows that he can start to push out just a little bit.
And how many Mutalisks do we have on the map right now? 23 Mutalisks here at a Reaper. He tries to, once again, jump on top of Binsky's army, but just so many Marines. He's going to go around the right side and head for the natural. There is one turret there. It's going to get insta-targeted down. And now we're going to start seeing SCVs go down. Only 3 Marines there for the defense. And Mutalisks are just getting away with murder.
Oh, it's so much damage coming through. They finally find the opening, and this is why you usually see Terrans build 2 turrets at each base, just because of how quickly they focus them down. But still, it's a healthy worker count for Binsky at 52. Not like he's incredibly far behind. Of course, he's on 3 bases. Is working on Thorus, has the speed burrow mines especially, and his 3-3 on the way. It's +2 bio. It's a really strong army that can, do decently at fighting, but here we go. Mutalisk's going to come in, clean up this small force of Marines. Nice focus fire, though. Kills off one Mutalisk.
And as you were saying, the upgrades are starting to sway heavily in Binsky's favors. How many Mutalisks do we have now? So now we haven't lost too many, down from 27 to 29. Binsky here still cranking out mines. He's got Thors. He's got his +3 on the way. And it looks like he also has his 4th there. He's got mines completely surrounding it and a turret. He's sitting so well defended now. And Binsky, Reaper, he's going to need to find an opening here to where he can jump in here with this Ling Muta composition. He does have his Banelings back at the end, though. 41 Banelings in this composition.
Oh, but these Widow Mines are so dangerous. I love this positioning, though, just using some Lings. Gets those first few mine shots off. But here we go. The burrow's not quick enough. Those mines get eliminated. But here come the mine hits. They're big. Are they big enough? It's so much Zerg rolling in. The splits are absolutely beautiful. The repairs go down onto the CC. Oh! Those mine hits are massive. Binsky doing so much work.
And now suddenly we see Muta and Ling here in the natural of Binsky. Reaper does decide to back up. He took a pretty heavy mine hit there at the end of that fight. More Thors are still being cranked out. It looks like Reaper's wanting to get back up onto the board as far as his upgrades go. He's going to fire at this planetary, but more turrets on the way for Binsky.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a beautiful hold. Splits as much as he can. The mine hits, even though a lot of them got eliminated, good enough. And then 11 Mutalisks going down in that fight alone. Before that, I mean, Reaper hadn't lost a lot. Loses now 15. That's so many minerals and gases just gone. And he's still trying to poke around, but it's really dangerous too at this point. Because as Binsky starts to head towards remaxing, his army is just going to be so much stronger. Because he has 3-3 almost done. He has Concussive Shell. He has Marauders that are going to start to be able to tank those Baneling hits. And then even more Widow Mines.
Looks like we see a double expand at a Reaper up in the top, about the middle of the map. Mutas do come in here, take out a mine, not without taking a hit first, and it looks like Binsky is moving out with his Bioforce. There are some burrowed banelings there. Oh my god, is he going to do it? No, he actually runs right past it. And now the Mutas are coming in, and they're taking out even more SEVs. Reaper knows this is his opportunity. His army's not there. Might as well come in and just completely clean house. Meanwhile, Bio on the other side on firing down on this fourth base of Reaper.
Oh, the splits are not there. Binsky wasn't paying attention. He was worried about the Mutalisk on the other side, but still, is it enough? I mean, he has just so many units, and even though the Baneling hits were massive, Marauders are still alive. Marines are still alive. He takes down the base, but the Mutalisk, they're on top of the production. They all get shot down, though. Marines all pop at the same time. Binsky just having that round of Marines all focus fire, and sure, he loses 27 workers, but he's shoved the Zerg back onto 2 bases. He's done so much damage to this Mutalisk flock, and juggling the Thor. I love it. Just make sure that he can just get that little extra damage, saves the Medivacs, gets on out. And he's still on, I mean, Binsky, he's still on 4 comfortable bases, even with 49 workers. He has mules.
Very true, and now is the time where we're going to start to see dividends paid here for Reaper for this double expansion that he did behind all of this great mutaplay that he's been doing. But it looks like Binsky is on the prowl. He's coming up on this left side. He's going to hit this top base. Mutalisks are in position, but it looks like Reaper's just going to pull the drones and let that base go down. He does have that base south of that one, but for the moment, it looks like Binsky's going to be able to put the pressure on here onto Reaper.
Absolutely. Taking trades where he needs to, realizes that eliminating bases here is absolutely worthwhile, and just not trying to engage with the army. Just trying to snipe bases, trying to get and move around the map so that he can play around the Ling Bane. And you see how hard it is for Reaper to respond. He's now on 3 bases. Binsky is ahead in the economy. He's mining, almost 1,000 more minerals per minute than his opponent. But this is a lot of Banelings. You can't just engage in here willy-nilly if you are Binsky. You have to be so careful.
It looks like we got 14 Banelings being morphed here. And we have some mines on the other side. Don't want to get hit by that mine with the and Mutas take another juicy mine hit. So Binsky's still coming in here with his Bioforce. Meanwhile, Reaper is having to defend. He is only on 3 bases right now versus, a 5-base Terran? This is getting a little bit out of control. Lingbane Muta pretty much everywhere on the map right now. Binsky's trying to find an opening, though, with his Bioforce. I wouldn't mind if I was just going to say that, if Binsky actually loaded up something into the Medivacs and started dropping.
Oh, these burrowed Banelings.
He's playing with fire.
They've had so many chances to get used, but Reaper just not having the attention in the right spot in order to trigger them. And the nice thing is here, the Ling Bane is so powerful that if there is one bad fight from Binsky, it can turn it around, and this might be the chance. There come the burrows. The shots are absolutely gorgeous, though. So many Banelings go down. The splits from Binsky are beautiful as he pulls back all of his Marines, and he still has a drop that's going to be heading towards the main base here of Reaper. The scan gets rid of the burrowed Banelings. Drop going down into the 3rd base. There's just a queen there. It's not going to be able to defend alone. And the Baneling flank manages to clean up this front army, but in the back, he's going to lose another mining base.
Absolutely incredible game here at Binsky. It looks like this dropship is going to go down. Mutas get right on top of it, not before it unloads a couple Marines. And Reaper, he needs to get back into this game. Really, to be honest, Binsky is kind of everywhere with his army movement. He is right on top of this expansion over here, and it looks like it's most likely going to go down. Yep, it's going down right now. Excellent mine placement, not allowing Reaper to jump on top of this army with his Muta and Banelings and Zerglings. He does have 1 Thor in the mix, so this is a pretty chunky army here at Binsky as he rolls up into what is now the 3rd of Reaper, putting heavy pressure onto the Blue Zerg.
Just losing so much to these Widow Mines. I mean, the Terran's already so far ahead. It's not a fun fight. Oh, those mine hits. GG. Binsky takes game number 2, and he's on to match point already.
Absolutely crazy.
Such good play from him. I mean, just doing what he needs to get done to stop the damage from whatever Reaper is attempting to do, and then just turning it right around. I mean, you see Reaper, that army value graph.
It's nuts.
Oh, that hurts my soul.
So
that was the Ling Bane. That was the Ling Bane rolling in. It
Yep.
didn't get enough damage done.
Binsky up 2-0, right? It's absolutely crazy.
It is.
And now we are
And we have
suddenly
the
on
call.
match point for our finals here today. Looks like the last map is going to be Oxide.
Yeah.
And we are not
It
even
is.
going to go back to the chats. We are just going to stay here and jump right into the next game.
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. We may
I
actually...
started it again because it always joins me quick. Luckily, there we go.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, give Titan a follow. I have his info down below, just with !Titan, and you can find his Twitch and his and his Twitter. Yeah, Twitch and
Yes.
Twitter's there. That's what I was able to get out of him. You guys will have to bother him a little bit more if you guys want to find his YouTube page. Give him a follow. He's here casting Code A Finals with me, so we're doing it for you guys. We're here for the scene. We're here for StarCraft 2. And here we go, loading up the next game in this best of 5.
Potentially the last. As ladies and gentlemen, it's game number 3. And up 2-0 in the top right. He's looking to clinch it out with a full sweep. It's your blue Terran. It's Binsky.
And in the bottom left, we have our red Zerg. He needs to come back in the series down 2-0. Will he try something sneaky here? I don't see any drones going across the map. It's Dematicus Gaming's Reaper. I think I'm still saying that right.
Sounds right to me.
Currently, our Terran is teamless, and to be in the finals of a North American tournament, pretty impressive here at Abinsky. Definitely would like it if he is picked up, or at least he generates some more attention around his playing, considering everyone loves really good Terran players. To have a Terran here in the finals, no Protoss, so no shield battery shenanigans here at either player, should make for a really great finals.
I mean, as I said, I've really been loving how Binsky has been, just using his bio to just be all over the map. The splits especially have been really nice on these big fights. Just knowing where to take his advantages. It's been a really nice play. It's nothing that's been super spectacular, but it's been efficient, and that's really where he's been able to outdo Reaper. And you now see Reaper once again heading back to a normal opener, saying, I actually don't want to risk going for a really aggressive cheese here because I'm down 0-2. I need to win this game. I need to win 3 games in a row, and he does not feel like cheese is going to be the way that it happens.
Command center on the low ground here for Binsky. Obviously, he doesn't feel like he needs to put a CC on the high ground. I don't think he has he scouted it, the main base yet? Yep.
Yeah.
He currently has an SCV
scout.
right in the natural in the main of Reaper. So he's going to see, nothing cheesy on the way for our red Zerg player. He does have a Zergling speed just now started. 4 Lings about to pop, along with 2 Queens. And a factory goes down for Binsky. So we're most likely going to see Hellion play here out of our blue Terran.
You don't usually see Widowmine drops in this matchup. That's usually saved more for the TVPs. So it should just be macro Hellions to poke at the front with a Reaper. And just see if they can ever dive in onto any drones. As this Reaper is actually just being really annoying here in the main base and almost gets a single drone, but a nice pull. Extractor being morphed and then canceled to save that one away. And ooh, as soon as the Reaper leaves, guess what Reaper's doing? It's a layer and it's an additional gas.
So very nice timing there for Reaper. So his layer is about halfway done. Are we going to see another 2-base Muta play here out of the red Zerg? He does cancel one of the gases, though. So that makes me think he's not going for Mutalist now.
Yeah, I feel like Reaper's been super indecisive in these games. Just not really knowing what to do to try and approach Binsky. It happened in game 1. After the cheese failed, super indecisive on what to do as a transition. Game 2 had a plan, but got defeated. And now here, cancels it away. Is just getting to Massize Carapace in the early layer. I can't even really see what it's going to be for, though, because he doesn't have the gas for roaches. Like, it doesn't have a Baneling nest on the way, nor third base.
Are we going to see a quick Nidus? Maybe?
Even with a
What is
Nidus,
he
you need
doing?
more gas for it.
He definitely-
Is it just a Ling Flood? With a layer?
So many
as I said, it just
Zerglings.
feels, yeah, it feels so indecisive because the layer is not needed for a Ling Flood or a Baneling bust. Instead, what?
Well, it looks like we got Drop-a-Lords on the way.
What?
I was thinking that. I was like, is it Nidus? Is he somehow deciding to go Nidus? But going Drop-a-Lord instead is actually a really, really smart play at a Reaper.
Oh, this is going to be so cool.
The question is
Queens
Binsky ready
and the
for it?
Dropper Lords.
He
I
doesn't
don't know.
have
I mean, this
anything
is-
spotting the bottom of his base.
I mean, who would expect this? Oh,
No.
those Hellions. Did they see? I don't know if the Hellions did end up seeing. The Lings are just pushing them away. I don't think Binsky knows. I mean, who does this? Who loads up 4 Dropper Lords full of Lings and Queens and flies them across the map? I mean, it's going to be scouted by these Hellions, but this is so cool.
Uh-oh, Viking does start shooting at these Overlords, so we may actually see one of these Overlords go down before it even gets the opportunity to drop. But no, Binsky not actually being, he's not microing his Viking there to actually take down the Overlords. He actually gets them right past, and now Queens
Here
and
we
Lings are being
go.
dropped into the main.
Oh, 2 of the Dropper Lords aren't dropping.
Nope.
And there we go, Reaper finally getting them on out as it's Lings and Queens. SCVs being pulled. I mean, Binsky did not expect this because, again,
No.
who loads up 4 Dropper Lords across the map, but so much damage is getting done.
He just lost a full Overlord, full with Zerglings. He didn't drop them. It went down to the Viking. 30 SCVs have gone down. I mean, that is the positive of this drop. Other than that, I feel
this
like,
Reaper.
oh my god, 11 workers to 27. This is... Reaper is definitely cementing himself back. He's going to pull this series back into his favor. Pretty sure. Lots more Lings and Queens getting dropped here. Nice bunker placement, though. It's not allowing the
Yeah.
Lings to actually get inside the main.
And you have the Viking as well that's cleared up a lot of the Overlords. So, I mean, Binsky takes a ton of damage. He's at 12 workers. Even with Mules, this is going to be such a hard game to play from, to macro out of. But Reaper, I mean, again, such a cool build. I really love that. You can tell that his opponent wasn't expecting it. And now he's going to start to use this creep, try and just stop this expansion from going back up as soon as possible. Because there's not really a lot here for Binsky to work with in order to try and break out.
Reaper is throwing down his 3rd expansion now, so he is expanding behind this Zergling pressure that he's putting on. There is creep in the natural of Binsky. Right now, Binsky, all he's doing is building Marines. He's got 2 Minivex on the way, but Banelings are now on the field. Well, at least the Baneling nest is now on the field. 2 evolution chambers, so we're most likely to see upgrades here momentarily. And it looks like Reaper is actually just wanting to sit back and play a little bit more macro-based. It doesn't look like he's wanting to end this, at least relatively soon here. Marine count is really high, sitting at 18. And now we
Bad
got
rally.
Overlords being shot down in the main because of a bad rally. And now we have 2 drop ships sent out.
Yeah, I mean, again, such a good build there from Reaper. Gets so much damage in it. From here, he just wants to macro up. As you said, getting into the 3rd base, he wants to try and just turn this into a regular macro game because he does have that lead. But with that being said, it is Binsky, back up to 22 workers, producing 3 at a time because he had that 3rd CC. And this double drop, we'll see how much damage it can get done. How many Lings are there? There's only 19.
And I really would like if he just waited a second for his combat shields to finish up before he dropped this. But he is going into the main here with this, and I don't think Reaper is going to notice. Marines are getting stemmed up here. They're headed towards this lair, and these drones, instant pull on the drones, only loses 4 to now 6 to this incoming attack. Not only that, but he sees the macro hatch too. I'm pretty sure he saw that. And now it's just a dance of the Lings and the Marines. Who gets a better positioning here? And it looks like Binsky just picks up and gets out of there. 6 drones going down.
Yeah. Probably lost a few more Marines than he would have liked. Could have picked them up a bit sooner. But still, gets a good trade for it, honestly. Does a good amount of damage, kills some drones, and that's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to slow it down Reaper, because he's already actually gotten the worker lead again off of this. Killing another queen is going to be also pretty massive, but that Baneling
Very nice hit.
kills off all the Marines, and Reaper able to stop that from getting too much more damage done. But surprisingly enough here, Reaper, he's on 3 bases, he's getting a 4th, but he's not producing drones, which is the weirdest thing.
As you can see, 38 SCVs to 29 drones. So Reaper is moving out here, and it looks like he's going to do a Baneling bust here. How many Marines do we have on the field? We have 20 Marines. Are they all here in the wall? It looks like there is nothing else on the map. Very large attack incoming here from Reaper, and he's definitely wanting to bring this up, and he wants to bring it 2-1. But there are mines. Are they on the field yet? No, it looks like he just started up some mines, and he hasn't burrowed any yet. Huge attack coming in here.
There's a drop in the main, but that might not matter because here come the Banelings, and the hits are so close to being delicious, but the pullbacks are just in time. Some really good mine hits managed to get rid of a lot of those Zerglings, and already you see Binsky taking a large supply lead as the Banelings are eliminated. There's enough Marines. The SCV is blocking away. Suddenly, it's Binsky who turns it around, gets the 3-0.
And there, you guys see it. Binsky takes the finals 3-0 over Reaper. Though, don't count Reaper out just yet. He has lots of stuff coming up. He's a great player. Follow him. Let him know he did great. Thank you once again to Titan for joining me tonight. That is it as for matches tonight. Finals going to Binsky. Terran player is your champion. Please give me a follow or give Titan a follow. Or, just keep watching StarCraft. We greatly appreciate it. Any closing thoughts, Titan, on how that finals went?
I mean, beautiful play there from Binsky. I just really enjoyed it. And Reaper tried to make the plays happen.
Excellent play out of both players. Even though it was a 3-0, it still felt like it could have gone either way at any moment. Mm-hmm. Reaper doing really good with the Baneling Muta composition that he was using. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will be wrapping this up now. Thank you. Any closing thoughts?
No. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for inviting me to cast this with you. It's always so much fun to get to cast some of the highest levels of amateur StarCraft 2 that you can. And congratulations to Binsky. He's going to take away first. He's going to get a good solid chunk of that prize pool, which, it's not too much, but hey, it's a good payout for someone who's still trying to find their way into the pro scene, who's still, trying to get their way into the, the higher ends of StarCraft 2. So it's exciting. I love seeing new talent. I love seeing new players that are trying to get their break. And it was definitely a very exciting night.
And I think Matcherino is still open. I believe you could still add to the prize pool, at least to the end of this broadcast, I believe. So if you guys have an opportunity, throw him a couple extra bucks. I'm sure he appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I hope everybody has a good evening.